What's up, everybody? Your favorite human being is back again, Hunter Avalani. And I see we have me fixing my hair here, but am I okay? Am I good? We okay? I did not mean to kick you my microphone. I am sorry. Please forgive me. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to my rather clumsy intro. I try my best here to make this as professional as possible. And that's because I am a professional loser, perhaps. But, yeah. How's everyone doing today? I'm gonna just stop with the dad jokes and just, yeah. How y'all doing today? Now, I have the chat changed a little bit, so now I should be able to respond to you, chat, faster. It shouldn't be such a heavy delay anymore. Bro, where's the chat hunter? Who's this nerd with glasses and a sword behind him? You know, should I just remove the sword? Is it tacky? I don't know. Hi, Hunter. What's up, Flo? Flo Ballman. Should I keep it? Should I keep it or not? Should I keep it or get rid of it? I don't know. Does it look better without it? I just don't like my setup. My setups never look good. It would be better if it was hanging. Watching Destiny watch your anti-vax debate. You should watch Destiny watch your anti-vax debate, so I watch you watch Destiny watch you. You know what? I listened to Destiny's little video reviewing my debate with BX Bullet. He gave some good advice, particularly don't use the name of the fallacy. I think that's like a actual debate bro thing. I don't know. Looks empty behind you if it's gone. You know what? You people are hard to please. Hair looks good, bro. Thanks, man. Put it back. You look like you're in a basement. You know what? I'm glad I'm not hiring any of you cucks as fucking HGTV home designers. You did good in that debate, bro. She was big mad. Yeah, dude, if you guys, I kind of do wish that Destiny had watched the whole thing, just because in the end it was so funny, because we started arguing about myocarditis, and I was like, well, you know, it's not really that big of a deal at the end of the day, considering it goes away, yada yada. And then she was like, oh, okay, so apparently Hunter doesn't think that heart swelling is a big deal. And then at the end I was like, I mean, there are kids getting COVID. And she was like, yeah, there's only been like 200 kids that have actually died. It's like, okay. So it's okay for you to demean that part, the kids dying. Meh. But the minor heart inflammation that goes away on its own in almost every instance. Hold the fucking phone. Also, I think you're really cute and I'm sad you're a dad, but good for you. Thank you? Oh, no. Already we have Anthony Brian Logan talking about Project Veritas. All right, well, I promised a conversation with this one girl I've been chatting with on, she wanted to talk to me on here. Hold on. Hello. Are you able to hear me? Maybe not. I can hear you, yes. How are you? Hold on, I think you're muted on my end. No, it's okay. It was on my stream that it was muted. Okay, try it now. Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, that's why there's an echo. I'm so sorry. I forgot I had the video on. I was like, why was there an echo?
No, it's okay. No worries. So you said on Instagram that you wanted to talk about I guess, vaccines and like the state of politics today? It was my understanding that you kind of used to agree with me, but you don't really anymore.
Yeah, I actually used to agree with you. You're actually the reason why. Well, okay, I used to be conservative. You did turn me into a conservative back then
Oh
too, which
boy.
is funny. But now I'm more neutral. But yeah. I mean, I was hoping to more talk about the U.S. and politics today. I did start out with the vaccines, but then I did a lot of research last night, and everything pointed towards politics and who's running the world right now, or who's running the U.S. right now.
Okay, so why don't you break that down for me a little bit more? How does this how does the people running the US have to do with the vaccine and yada yada? Like how did it come back to them?
Well, when I was doing research on the vaccine, I started. So I believe in more of not conspiracies, but like more hidden details that I've found myself about Burger Group, about different groups that are really behind curtains for everything going on.
What does this
And
mean? What does this have to do with like the vaccine or anything else? Can you try to make it a little more holistic for me? I'm trying to understand.
I'm sorry.
It's
like
okay.
I um
I'm not trying to yell at you or attack you or anything. I'm just trying to understand what you mean.
um I guess it doesn't really connect. It's just like I said, I went towards research for vaccines, but then I started going on a different route, which is why I also said like, um, you know the what's going on in the U.S. today.
Uh-huh.
Um, but yeah,
Did you ever go by the username Sunny Bunny Mew?
no, I have not.
Okay. um Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So who do you think's running America and everything? What kind of hidden details exactly?
Well, there's evidence showing about the Bilderberg Group and Skull and Bones, which honestly sound crazy, but there's literal video evidence of someone even explaining that they've been in it themselves, which was George Bush. I forgot which one, but George Bush definitely admitted to being in Skull and Bones himself, and he himself is a big, powerful man who is a president. And basically, most of these people who are in these groups are also in power and in our government, basically.
Um So I would have to look into this, but I can tell just from reading the Wikipedia that this is most likely bullshit. So
I
Skull
mean,
and Bones, also known as the Order 322 or the Brotherhood of Death, is an underground senior secret student society at Yale University. So do we have like evil college kids? Is this like the liberal thing where evil college kids are actually going to take over the world?
I guess in a sense it sounds like that. Not gonna lie, but honestly, it's just a group of people trying to control the masses. In a, that's what it seems like to me. And I have found actual video evidence of someone admitting to be in Skull and Bones. It was George Bush.
I don't really care though. Did George Bush go to Yale?
Yes.
So, so it sounds like this is just some college campus club thing. And even if they are actually trying to control the masses or whatever, then what are they doing with the vaccine? How does this come back to them with the vaccine?
Um, yeah, like I said before, it really doesn't. It was just I didn't when I was doing my research, everything just kind of fell into that category.
I mean,
I basically was doing research all day yesterday too, and like the last few days,
what were you
and
researching?
um, basically about the government, um, where a lot of things came from.
I,
It's really I'm sorry.
yeah, no, it's okay. It's just that this I think sounds like conspiracism at the end of the day. And even if there was some kind of secret organization trying to control the masses, I really don't understand what that has to do with vaccines or arguably anything that's going on today? I mean, you said you wanted to talk about like the state of America today. What's something going on today that you think that this is kind of behind?
The way I see it is they're still part of it. The Bilderberg group, they're actually a part of they're actually part of our history. And I believe Bill Clinton was on it. But the Bilderberg group are basically the ones trying to are basically the ones. I'm sorry, I'm like messing up.
It's okay. Don't be worried. Don't get nervous. I'm not here to yell at you or anything. I'm just I haven't
This is my
actually heard of a lot of these things either. So
I I had a feeling this is my first real debate. Also, um, um, but basically the way I see it is that the Bilderberg group are basically the ones behind the curtain. It's basically the ones trying to create this one world government.
okay, yeah. So I can say pretty quickly that I think that this is getting into conspiracism. There's actually a section right here on Wikipedia about how there are conspiracy theories brewing because the Bilderberg group has been criticized for its lack of transparency and accountability. The undisclosed nature of the proceedings has given rise to several conspiracy theories, which have been popular at both extremes of the political spectrum. Although there is disagreement about the exact nature of the group's intentions, some on the left accuse the Bilderberg group of conspiring to impose capitalist domination, while some on the right have accused the group of considering to impose a world government and planned economy. I hate to break it to you, man, but it sounds like you got sucked into this right wing one right here. I'm not sure where you read this, what research you were doing, but it sounds like this is like I mean, it's so common now that this is on like a Wikipedia page.
I mean, I didn't look at Wikipedia because I don't trust most. Okay, I don't really trust most of Wikipedia because people change that, and on top of that, it's I
You
don't know.
know
I just
that's
don't.
not true, right? That's like it's actually quite hard to change a Wikipedia article and actually keep it changed. Like it's Wikipedia actually is a pretty fairly reasonable source to use. Now, of course, there's not. It probably wouldn't hold up if you were writing an essay or something, and that's fine. I know that like in schools they don't really like Wikipedia, but if you're looking to get like a good holistic view of something quickly, Wikipedia is pretty damn accurate with it. Also, at the bottom of Wikipedia, if you don't trust Wikipedia, you can just scroll down to the references and they put all the sources down there too. As a public figure who has actually had like literally agents try to get me a Wikipedia page created, I can tell you, making a Wikipedia page, changing a Wikipedia page, even if you change it temporarily, to actually change it and keep it changed, it's really hard to do. But yeah.
That's something new. I don't know. I don't use Wikipedia. I try to find a lot of other places, including video evidences, in which I have actually found a video evidence of basically other people, other members from other groups in our government right now, and what they're doing too. For example, we got what's his face?
Fauci.
He's part of no, he's part of climate change. The climate change part. John Kerry.
And he's
John
what, part
Kerry.
of the Bilderberg group?
No. He. It said that he was once part of Skull and Bones,
So, but
and he was in the interview for that as well.
let's see.
I could actually send to you.
No, it's fine. It looks like it's actually right here on Wikipedia. What did you say his name was? John Kerry, right?
Yeah, John Kerry with a K.
Okay.
E-R-Y.
So, this is such a not a big deal. I don't know where you're reading this from. I don't know. Are you doing Alex Jones research?
No, I'm doing. I do DuckDuckGo because, yeah, but
Well, even if it's DuckDuckGo, I mean, like, he went to Yale, so he was part of this. I guess, was it a fraternity? Alumni. Um,
What?
Other alumni, such as John Kerry, spoke out in favor of admitting women. The dispute was highlighted on an editorial page of the New York Times. A second alumni vote in October 1991 agreed to accept the class of 1992, and the lawsuit was dropped? So oftentimes this group was very racist as well.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
There's actually
just if he went they went like if anything, this probably just proves that a lot of people that are in our government have at one point gone to a very famous prestigious college. Like, so like it just doesn't mean anything. I don't know. I guess maybe you can hold on. Oops. Yep. From 1962 to 1966, he went to Yale University. I don't know. But I would just recommend looking into it a little bit more. It doesn't make sense either. What's their goal at the end of the day? Why are they trying to control the masses? To do what? These people that are like quote unquote elites or whatever, the people that are like quote unquote running America, they thrive usually from like a stronger economy. So the more people, the better, and the less restrictions, the better. The more businesses that can function properly, the better. And we're seeing virtually all of the opposite happen right now. So I'm not sure what the, like, controlling the masses to do what.
And a lot of conflict, a lot of fighting, a lot of I'm sorry for my language, but there's been a lot of bullshit with America lately. A lot of chaos, a lot of fighting, a lot of we're not getting along. I live near an amusement park, and over there I have not ever seen a fight. Even when I worked there, I did not see like many fights.
So
But
because there's
I
a
guess now
fight
there's a
breaking
bunch
out, you think that
of
this...
fights. Now there's like not the okay. The bunch of fights is not the point. The point is that there's so much chaos right now, and that's exactly like the goal. That's exactly was the plan. That was exactly.
I'm really having a hard time following. I don't think this makes really any sense. Like,
I can see
what it
why.
sounds like, you want to know what a much more succinct and reasonable explanation is for that? We're in a time of COVID. People have been locked up, and with that also comes, distance, and that sometimes makes people feel isolated. We have a growing trend of people being more and more isolated, less friends, which can sometimes show itself in ways of like acting out in forms of aggression, right? So that's a far more reasonable explanation than John Kerry went to Yale and was part of Skull and Bones, which means that they're trying to control the masses and cause chaos, and that's why you saw a fight at the amusement park. Like, you realize how this doesn't really sound coherent?
Yeah, I'm not saying that's why I saw a fight at the amusement park. That's not what I was trying to get at. I was just trying to say like the bunch of chaos. But I get what you're
There's been
saying.
chaos forever. Throughout history, there's been chaos going on.
Well, yeah.
So, I mean, has throughout history Skull and Bones been controlling it? Like, what? It's just, where's your evidence of any of this?
Get you some right now, actually. Sorry, I don't know which one to put it under.
It's okay. You don't need to worry about sending me anything. I would just recommend maybe don't use DuckDuckGo. Like, maybe just try using Google, because now this could be wrong. Someone could just be completely bullshitting in the chat, but I read in my chat that apparently DuckDuckGo doesn't optimize for like search results, which leads to a lot of that like misinformation coming to the top of your search results on DuckDuckGo.
Uh, it's funny you say that because I've had the opposite experience with Google, where I go to Google and it's mostly just biased stuff, and I don't like.
I mean, but hold on, but you just a second ago thought Wikipedia was biased. So you're operating outside of like the like average over like outside of the Overton window. Most people when they search something and it comes up with a Wikipedia article, they see that as being neutral. I certainly can consider to be neutral. So I think maybe you need to
I'm not
rethink what you
saying
consider being biased.
I'm not. I'm not saying I disagree with you about Wikipedia. That was just something new because I haven't been on in a long time. I basically haven't been on it since school, and it's just never been something I went to for information.
Okay.
But Google does end up sending me biased articles in which I'd rather not,
Okay.
because in the end
It's strange because if you want to look at it from this perspective, the right wing, where a lot of this misinformation comes from, both about conspiracy theories and vaccine misinformation, is actually much more comparable to like a coordinated effort to try and push an agenda and essentially brainwash the listeners. So you can make a much stronger argument for the fact that like Project Veritas spreads misinformation, Fox News spreads misinformation, the talking heads on YouTube spread misinformation. They almost all have their quote unquote alternative narrative, and they're almost all lockstep with each other. Now, I'm not actually alleging a conspiracy or anything, but I feel that you could make an argument that's much stronger there than there's some secret society controlling all of America society. Like, how are they controlling the masses? Can you explain that one to me?
I can. And honestly, I do believe COVID is part of that too. And not saying I don't trust I'm not saying I don't really trust the vaccine. I don't take it because I just don't trust COVID. I don't want to have it in my body at all. Um, but
So you don't trust COVID, don't trust the vaccine. Where are you doing this research from?
well, okay, I don't trust the vaccine because I don't trust COVID. I don't want to have it shot into my body.
So you realize that the vaccine isn't actually shooting COVID into your body, right?
I mean, isn't that how it works? It literally they put the bacteria into your body so that way your body can fight it.
No, that's only the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The FDA approved one, the Pfizer one, uses mRNA technology, which actually puts like a DNA code. I don't explain it very well, but it's like a copy of the virus DNA that they put in you. You don't actually have any kind of a risk of getting COVID from the vaccine.
But honestly, I do believe in a sense COVID was created to separate us because I mean, yeah, it's a real thing, but also biological warfare is a real thing. Meaning they
So
can
even
still
if that
create.
were even if I completely granted you that, even if I said, yeah, okay, it's biological warfare, China did it, um, then why wouldn't you get the vaccine?
As before, I kind of thought that it was gonna have the COVID in it. I don't want COVID in my body at all, even if it's for a vaccine.
It's just if you're so scared of getting COVID in you, you should probably take the vaccine.
All right.
That would be my suggestion.
Yeah. Um. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I think that you should look into this a little bit more. Like that's actually pretty well known. Like the Pfizer thing, that's one of the conspiracy theories about it is that it's mRNA. It's the first of its that type of vaccine. Da 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 da. Like that's what they argue because it's different than the other ones.
Sense. I can see where that's coming from because it is the first, like it is new. We still don't know much about COVID. We're still learning. People are still getting COVID
Why
after
are
the.
you saying we don't know much about COVID, but then you're using that as an excuse to not get the vaccine? Like the vaccine, we know everything about the vaccine.
I'm not saying it's an excuse to not get the vaccine. I'm just saying I understand where other people are coming from because of that. You know, it's just a thing. It's not how I think, it's just how other people think.
Okay.
Or how I've noticed the fear, basically.
All right. Yeah. I mean, I think there are a lot of people that are afraid of getting the vaccine, but I don't know how much you watch of my channel, but you know, usually I take a pretty abrasive approach against people that are quote unquote afraid of getting the vaccine.
I can tell.
Because there's no good reason not to. Like, even the reasons you've given me thus far have been like based on nothing but like misinformation. So when it really comes down to it, there really seems to be no good reason not to get the vaccine. I have people in my chat saying no vaccines have ever been deployed this early. It doesn't matter. Just if it was done faster, you can read about how that was achieved. And it wasn't done by cutting corners. It was done by hiring more people to do the job. Hunter Coach Red Pill says you're a grifter. Is he in chat? Bring him on. I would love to talk to him again. But yeah, I don't know. Is there any other hesitancies you have about the vaccine? I'd be happy to alleviate your anxieties.
I mean, no, not really anymore.
All right.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, it was a good debate, I guess. Yeah, it was a good debate. It was nice actually debating you for. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
You have a good day.
You too. See ya.
See you.
This guy has so much faith in bullshit fake news headlines. So arrogant and misinformed. Are you talking about me? Because if so, then get in the chat, buddy. First, last, thanks for the $5. Fun fact, DuckDuckGo pissed off a lot of conservatives by donating money to an organization that encourages non-binary adults and women to program more. That's funny. Who said I'm a... It was literally done by cutting corners. That's what Operation Warp Speed was. Glad that I did a lookup and just simply had to... This is the thing. You just have to read the definition a lot of the times, and you debunk every dipshit thing these people say. You know what? Who's this guy? Florp Derpins? Hey, buddy, I'm going to call you on Discord, okay? So get on, because I saw that you joined my Discord the other day. Wait. Was I wrong? I don't know. Operation Warp Speed was a public-private partnership initiated by the United States government to facilitate and accelerate the development, manufacturing, and distribution of COVID-19 vaccines, therapeutics, and diagnostics. So, okay. I would be happy to debate anyone else on this stuff. Bro, everyone says Hunter is a grifter. It's one of the dumbest fucking things I've ever heard. True. Affinity, I see you typing a lot in my chat. Could you please get in my Discord? I would be more than happy to have a little chat with you. We can talk all about the vaccines. Let's do it, man. That definition proves what he says? What do you... No! They accelerated it by teaming up with a public and private sectors. They didn't expedite the process by cutting corners. No, I know you won't listen to any criticism. Oh my god. Okay, I will. I'll be very listening. I'll listen so hard, okay? Hunter, do I ban? Affinity, I'm going to give you 5 minutes to get in the Discord, or else you... Last time I came on, you banned me? Okay, well, you're unbanned now. If you're not, we'll make sure. But I'm giving you 5 minutes to jump on. We can have a chat, or else you're going to get banned from my Twitch chat. So yeah, Raspberry Sorbet. Do I ban? Don't ban anyone now. But get this guy on. We'll get this guy on Discord. Or girl. I don't know. When Hunter says get in Discord or ban, 1984. True. Look out. I await your arrival, Affinity, or whatever the fuck your name is. And I cannot wait to talk to you. And I'll be very ears open to your criticism, okay? I will listen so hard to criticism. Hunter pushing the vax. Wow, next they'll say conservatives don't get canceled on YouTube. Why are there so many like dummies in my my chat today? You can get on too, man. I'll argue with all you people all day long. I don't care. I love it. Because it's the people that are the most confident in my chat that end up looking the most stupid when we talk. It's always so funny. Hunter pushing the vax. Wow. All right. Hold on. I don't see this person joining my Discord yet. Love Hunter's method of dealing with critics, either nut up or shut up. Seriously. All right, where's this Affinity person? Come on. Let's go. What's your Discord name? You can let me know what it is. Oh, he already said no, bye. Oh, okay. I already went on your Discord and you banned me? I didn't. And maybe was that a long time ago? Because you're obviously unbanned at this point. It was probably a temporary ban. His method of dealing with critics is to pick out the dumbest people to try to argue with them. Hey, buddy, you want to jump in my Discord? Clearly, I'm not just picking out the dumbest people because you said that you have a very valid point, and I didn't read them out loud. So why don't you come on? Why don't any of these people ever just man the fuck up? Just one of them. All right. I think we're just going to go on to the next topic then, and we'll just wait because, yes, you are picking out the dumbest. If you think that you're super big brain smart, then why don't you come on too, man? Anybody can come on. Just get on the Discord. I see people joining my Discord, but I don't know if their username is the same. If your username is different, you can always just comment it in the chat, and then I can call you directly. It doesn't even have to be your direct, exact username. It can just be like your general. Like mine is like Hunter Avalon. All right, let me see if there's anyone that wants to... Because I was supposed to talk to someone else too. All right, hold on. I'm just sending my Discord to someone. All right, you know what? Invite me, the last guy that joined. Okay, that is you. Hello?
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
It's going good. I hear you're here to give me some very valid criticism that I apparently skipped over.
Well, I'm going to make a point here about something you said. You said that it wasn't cutting corners what they did with Operation Warp Speed. But, I mean, according to not just that headline you read, they didn't do animal trials and they didn't do long-term testings of the vaccine. So that is the definition of cutting corners on the vaccine.
No, there were animal trials done too. I'm reading about this right now as you tell this to me because I don't believe a word you're going to say. So, we analyzed the program's vaccine candidates and found that their development followed traditional practices with some adaptations. For example, some clinical trial phases overlapped with each other and with animal studies to accelerate development. So, nice try. Is there anything else?
Overlapped with animal studies on the COVID-19 vaccine?
This fast facts here, right here, is on Operation Warp Speed, on what it did and how it worked. And it's explaining from GAO.gov how it worked. We also found that agencies are working to help mitigate vaccine manufacturing challenges. For example, agencies have taken steps to require contractors to prioritize the vaccine production supplies. So do you have another really good, strong point that I overlooked?
Yeah, I mean, this has only been out for they only did like 6 months worth of clinical trials.
That's not true at all. For mRNA vaccines or just the COVID one specifically?
For the COVID one specifically.
Well, that's also not true, actually. So they've been researching they've been doing vaccine research on just SARS-CoV for a long time. It's my understanding that it's been like 50 or 60 years, I think, actually. They've been doing research on that for a long time, and then it kind of all came together as a perfect storm. So there was the SARS-CoV vaccine research that had already been done, mixed in with the fact that the mRNA vaccine had been developed and was ready for use, mixed up with the fact that, hey, here's coronavirus 19. We already have half the vaccine developed and researched. Part of the reason vaccines take so long to begin with to develop a lot of the times is because it takes time to figure out where the virus comes from and how to stop it. But with coronavirus, we already had a vaccine developed for SARS-CoV. It was just SARS-CoV-2 that was unique. So
where's the data where the virus came from? Where's the data on that?
What do you mean? You mean about the China thing?
Yeah, there still hasn't.
Wait, whoa! Stop. That has nothing to do with anything. We're not talking about anything. We're not talking about China right now.
You're reading Google definitions.
I didn't. I just explained something to you off the top of my head because I do my research and don't make dumb fuck comments in people's chat and then look like a sniveling, cowering little bitch boy when confronted about it.
You're calling me a cowering little bitch boy? I joined your Discord. And now you're reading me definitions that you just
I'm not reading you definitions. I'm explaining to you the reality of the world that apparently you've overlooked. So now
you literally were just reading a definition from Google. I saw you do it.
I was reading you some fast facts
and I'm
about
not
this,
so.
and then I
Yeah,
was
you're reading me
explaining to
fast
you,
facts.
and then I was explaining to you why the vaccine was developed quickly, and how it was able to come together.
I'm still not sure that there was actually animal trials published. Can you show me the peer-reviewed study on that?
Does it have to be peer reviewed? I don't think that everything needs to be peer reviewed like articles. Do you know what peer review is and why it's important?
Yeah.
Really?
So
What is it?
so scientists can come to a consensus on is the data correct or not.
Mm-hmm.
You have other peers.
Do you have
review
peer
your work.
reviews for like something as like whether or not animal trials occurred? You probably have peer reviewed studies on the animal trials, but I don't know if you have peer reviewed studies on whether or not animal studies
I think
even
you're just
occurred
kind
in
of
the
taking
beginning.
what I said and you're turning it back on me.
No, I think that you're trying to be extremely disingenuous, and it's obvious. This
It's not
comes from
disingenuous.
yeah, it is. This is Here, I'll send this to you, buddy. Here you go. There you go. You can go read that.
If I were disingenuous, I would have just put a snide little comment in YouTube and not joined your Discord.
No, probably because you didn't want to get banned.
Get banned. I don't care about getting banned. What, from your chat?
Yeah, man, you missed out on all the fun. So what are some other really good reasons now that we've gone through the two dipshit reasons why? What are the next ones? What's the other really good take?
My original point, you said that they did not cut corners, but by very definition, what they did was cut corners.
How is this cutting corners?
Well, okay, you didn't do what you normally would do for every other vaccines. There's usually
it sped up the process, but that doesn't mean that it cuts corners. Same with the FDA.
You're
the
arguing
FDA
semantics. That's
no,
what
I'm
the left
not.
likes to
You're the
do.
one
It's
arguing
wordplay.
semantics right now. By definitions, cutting corners means that you don't do the full extent of the job in order to get done quicker. That is not what happened
So they
here.
didn't do the full extent of the long-term studies on the virus, which would be cutting corners
How are they
by your
do
own definition.
the long-term studies on the virus? Do you mean on the vaccine?
Sorry, the vaccine, rather.
What do you they did it for as long as they can. They did.
No, they didn't. What do you mean as long as they can?
They did it for as long as they could, considering
No,
that
they rushed it out.
They needed to get it out quickly.
3 to 5
Also-
years worth of clinical studies,
right?
like
Which we
normally do for every
didn't
other
actually need, considering the fact that vaccines don't really usually lead to long-term side effects. Most of them, if they do lead to adverse effects at all, would happen within 15 days to like 2 months.
I'm gonna completely debunk that because there are a lot of side effects of this vaccine. There's 770,000 reports of adverse effects from the vaccine on the VAERS government
I don't
website.
care. VAERS anybody can report on. Literally anyone. I right now
Okay.
could go and report and say, I got the vaccine and then I had explosive diarrhea. Fuck you, Pfizer. And that would be counted in that thing. So no, citing a VAERS study to me, do you really think that's going to like sway anybody?
Well,
we all know
10
what
times-
VAERS is, but okay. Do you want to try another one?
Apparently you don't, but 10 times the amount of data compared to any other year. There's literally 10 times the amount of adverse side effects reported.
That's
But you're
probably because one, vaccine has been given to way more people in a way shorter amount of time, and two, this is a hyper politicized thing. And like I already said,
So they're all
VAERS
just
can
trolls
cause
going on there
with
and
VAERS
they're reporting false information.
Yes,
None
with
of
VAERS
that's
anybody
true.
with VAERS
Even-
anybody can report anything, dude. Those are not at all sound statistics. You can't just flash a VAERS number at me and expect to shock us. It's not
I'm
going to
trying
work.
to shock you. I'm just trying to point out that there's 10 times the data of any other year.
I don't care.
And you're claiming it's all just trolls. That you're just.
I'm not saying it's all just trolls.
You can't just debunk that with saying, "Oh,
No.
well, that's just trolls."
I didn't say they're all just trolls.
And they're
What
not
I-
all just. They're not just all.
It's funny too. Now I know.
random
Now I
people.
know for sure that you were being disingenuous. Actually, because
I'm not
earlier
being
you
disingenuous.
hold on. Yeah, I do. Because earlier you were like, "Do you have anything of peer review?" And now you're citing VAERS at me. It's actually really hilarious because it completely exposes that you are being disingenuous. 100%.
You say that a lot, but I'm not trying to be disingenuous. That was actually just a side note. The original point, like I said, is they cut corners on the vaccine. That was my original
Okay.
argument.
Well, thanks for not proving that at all. I guess you can just do you just like
We
repeat
did
things
prove
over
that
and over
according-
again and try to make
We
them
did
come
prove
true?
that. According to your own definition, we did prove that.
No, we didn't
said-
at all.
You said that. What's your definition of cutting corners?
I said cutting corners would be doing a less than standard procedure
And so they didn't do that with. So they didn't do less than standard
in
with
order to
testing
get
on
it
this
done
vaccine.
quicker. They absolutely
they-
did. They did everything normal with as far as like what Project Warp Speed did. It only worked to collaborate public and private entities to speed it up And some, like what we're reading right here, some clinical trial phases overlapped with each other and with animal studies to accelerate development. So no, there's no cutting corners here. And
Except
unless
they skip the normal amount of time that they study a vaccine long term.
I don't even know if that's true. Although it's true that they don't have like obviously that long-term studies considering the vaccine hasn't been out that long, it's also been given to a massive amount of people. We would know by now if there was some kind of adverse effect related to it, and there just doesn't seem to be. Instead, it's overwhelmingly safe, and instead we see statistics showing that the majority of hospitalizations and deaths with COVID are people who are not vaccinated, people who, like you, buy into a lot of delusional bullshit thinking, think that they're right, and then die in their narcissism.
No, I mean, they authorized it for emergency use only, and they were administering it to people. They cut so many corners, it's absurd.
Yeah,
and you're trying to argue.
It's
that,
funny
no,
because I like how you
normal.
just keep repeating it because do you think it's just going to make it come true?
You're trying to gloss over the fact that what I said was correct.
Really? What corners did they cut?
They didn't do the standard long-term side effect tests that they normally do.
That has nothing. I don't think that has anything to do with Project Warp Speed. Wouldn't that have something to do with the FDA and federal?
Project Warp Speed is what they did to push it out quicker, aka cut corners. And you're saying that's not what happened. But
yeah, no, I would not consider that cutting corners. Usually when you say, hey, we got this vaccine.
According to your definition.
No, usually when people say, hey, we cut corners, you imply that in order to get the vaccine made, you have cut corners. Instead, you have all of the proper procedures and the proper studies done, by the way. They did, not only peer-reviewed studies, but studies with control groups and the placebo effects and everything necessary to test to the highest standard that this vaccine is safe. And then you're saying, well, no, because after all that, they didn't wait for 4 years to see if somehow people turn into dragons and mutants. So therefore, they did cut corners.
What if they get cancer?
What?
I mean, there's another Pfizer drug for smoking that was causing to stop people from smoking. They didn't know.
Isn't Pfizer a pharmaceutical company? Don't they develop a lot of drugs?
You're saying that there's no possibility there could be long-term.
No, I'm laughing at you for saying Pfizer developed an entirely different drug that had the side effect of causing cancer.
That was an example.
So maybe the Pfizer vaccine does also.
That was a long-term effect. You don't know what the long-term effects are. That's my point.
Stop digging, Hunter. Throw the towel in. It's getting embarrassing. Keith D, could you please jump into my Discord? I would be more than happy to talk to you. Hey, mods, keep an eye on Keith. And if he doesn't join here in the next 5 minutes, go ahead and ban him permanently. All right, yeah. But great. Yeah, strong, solid point, man. So far, I've been totally convinced not to get the vaccine.
I've got a question, a side question for you.
What's up?
Do you think there's a good reason that the CEO of Pfizer didn't take his own vaccine?
Also, the drug that caused cancer that you brought up wasn't a vaccine at all.
I even said it's unrelated, but also an example of how long-term effects cannot be understood, because they were selling that drug Chantix all over the place. That was just an example. Long-term effects can exist, not only in vaccines, but any drug they make. And you're saying that's not possible.
No,
well, how would you know that?
That's not what I'm saying. Do you know what the long-term effects of COVID
are? Decreased oxygen levels,
lung disease,
lung disease. There's all kinds
infertility, small testicles. Some things you might be familiar with.
That really helps your argument, throwing insults.
I know I will throw insults because
I know you.
I think it's hilarious that you're coming on. Hunter, he's lying about the Pfizer guy. He got the vaccine in May. All right, that's what my chat just said. So let me go ahead and look this up really quickly.
Well, there's an article about him not being able to enter an international flight because he's not vaccinated, and he went on to make a public statement on video that he doesn't need it because he doesn't fall in the at-risk group.
All right, so now that we're done, hold on, please. Alice, stop. We're out of Wonderland now, okay? Here's some reality for you. Fact check, Pfizer CEO received his second dose of the COVID vaccine on March 2021. The CEO of Pfizer received his second dose of the COVID-19 vaccine on March 10th. Still, in August 2021, users on social media have referred to an outdated article that states he had to cancel a trip for not being fully vaccinated as if it were new. All right. Thank you, Reuters, for this. I'll go ahead and send this over to you. There you go.
Okay. Well, there's video of him saying why he didn't get the vaccine.
Sure. So could that have been something old?
Well, there's a possibility.
Okay, cool. So even if he did have some reasons then, he probably didn't have good reasons long term, and now he went on to get the vaccine. So your argument is really just null. Do you have any other good reason? Any other quote good reasons why not to get the vaccine?
We can try to fact check these fact checkers, though. I'll look into it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, go look it up on DuckDuckGo, see what Alex Jones has to say, and then once you figure things out, then maybe you can come back over here and educate me a little bit.
Sure.
Any other really good reasons why not to get the vaccine? Because so far you've given me 0.
Adverse side effects.
Okay. So there's adverse
Blood
side effects
clots.
of... hold on. There's adverse side effects of COVID also. Right?
Yeah, but COVID has a 99% recovery rate.
And the likelihood of you dying by the vaccine is less than 1 in 31,000, buddy. So... actually no. It's way safer to take the vaccine than risk getting COVID.
We don't know that long term.
Yeah, we kind of do because
that.
You know what?
No,
That's what I was
we?
trying to find out because we were going to look up the long term things. Let's see.
There isn't any long term studies.
3 things to know about the long term side effects of COVID vaccines. In his nearly 30 years studying vaccines, Paul Gopert, MD, director of the Alabama Vaccine Research Clinic at the University of Alabama, has never seen any vaccine as effective as the 3 COVID vaccines. All right, let's see. But what makes vaccine experts confident that COVID vaccines are safe in the long term? There are several reasons why.
They don't have long-term studies. It hasn't been out long-term.
But there are reasons why.
Define long-term for me.
No. We don't actually we might not need these quote unquote long-term studies because it sounds like we already have an understanding of the fact that usually the adverse side effects come on pretty quickly, and looking at this like 5 years down the road is probably unnecessary.
Where are you getting this? Usually they come on quickly.
I'm trying to read
in
you
other drugs.
I don't care
I gave
about
you an example of one.
I don't care. I know that there are some drugs that can cause long effects. Can you let me read this and it'll explain this all, okay? So listen, it says, let's see. We already know enough that to be confident that the COVID vaccines are safe. Here's why. Starting with the way vaccines work and continuing through strong evidence from vaccine history and the even stronger evidence from the responses of people who've received COVID-19 vaccines worldwide. Unlike many medications, which are taken daily, probably the one you were going to cite to me, vaccines are generally one and done. Medicines you take every day can cause side effects that reveal themselves over time. Vaccines are just designed to deliver a payload and then are quickly eliminated by the body. This
one's not one and done, though. They're talking about taking 3 vaccines and booster shots.
Well, no, they're talking actually right here. Just to be clear,
it's not the normal vaccine that you.
No, taking 1 or 2 vaccines and then a booster is actually entirely normal, and it also clarifies that with 2 vaccines, it's the same as well. So, they say this is particularly true of the mRNA vaccines. mRNA degrades incredibly rapidly. You wouldn't expect any of these vaccines to have any long-term side effects, and in fact, this has never occurred with any vaccine. So I'm probably going to trust the 30-year vaccine professional, no offense, over your opinion.
I mean, you're just reading the article you wrote, and you're making an argument from authority.
I'm not making an argument from authority.
Yes, it is.
Okay, you know what? Let me back up. I'm citing authority.
This title, that's an argument from authority. You're saying,
buddy,
well, he holds this title, so his argument is his information is more valid than yours.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's true. That's not a fallacy if you're trying to make it sound like one. This is actually a justified argument from authority because I don't have the authority to know this, but this guy obviously does. And so I'm going to, read his opinion on that, and that's going to be kind of where I have to form my opinion from, because I don't know how you do it, but like I can't just go off like gut feeling, No,
I mean I read articles, I watch videos, I don't.
Apparently, you read a lot of articles from like Infowars.com and stuff.
I don't just go and Google mid-argument a headline and read someone.
This actually isn't Googled
read someone an
mid-argument. I have it
excerpt.
right here on my stream that this is in my notes for arguing with anti-vaxxers. And I have the little quote here and the article so that I can cite it quickly, so that when I'm talking to people like you and you say, do you have a source for that? Huh? Then I can go ahead and send it over to you.
You're labeling me as anti-vaxxer, but I've had plenty of vaccines. I just don't want to take one that's not studied long-term.
Okay.
You don't know what the side effects are. But
Okay.
you can keep hurling insults and
It's not
assuming
hurling
things.
insults. It's just
Yes,
hilarious.
it is.
Like,
You just called me anti-vaxxer, but I've had several vaccines in my life.
I
You
didn't
don't
just
know
call
me.
you anti-vaxxer.
You
I
ju-
said that these are my anti-vax notes. My
Okay,
notes
and
for
you're
anti.
applying them to me. Therefore,
My notes for
insinuating I'm
arguing
anti-vax.
against vax arguments, buddy. Come on.
All right, have fun with your fact-checking fake news headline articles.
Okay. Yeah.
Have-
And
have
have
a good
fun.
day, sir.
Have fun with the tinfoil hat. I'll send one over to you. Okay. Oh my god. Why are these people all so fucking stupid? Oh, we have Ashton Birdie that wants to talk. Oh, whoa, she like just showed up. That makes it look kind of weird. There haven't been any long-term side effects of any vaccine. Yeah, I know, but these people don't listen to reality. All right. Hello.
How are you?
Hi. Do you want to turn on video? It's up to you.
I can't. I'm literally like in my sweatpants, like work because I manage a website and so I work from home and just in sweatpants today. So I would, but I'm absolutely disgusting right now.
No worries. No worries. So yeah, how you doing?
We have never talked, which
we
is
have
actually
not.
kind of surprising. Hi, how's it going, y'all? It's funny. I feel like you and I both kind of left the MAGA world, but you like did the whole like a 180, I think. And so some people were like, that's crazy. It's funny. People compare me to you all the time, which is funny because I didn't do a 180. I sort of just
Weren't
went
you like
back
really
to my
alt-right?
I was kind of tiptoeing around that, but I was never like actually in it. That's the thing. I was tiptoeing in it, and I feel like I was almost pressured to kind of go near it, but I never actually got into it, honestly. I was actually more of an anarchist growing up, and then
People are asking like who you are. Do you want to like just give a little introduction of, because I feel like for a lot of people they might recognize the name Ashton Birdie, because weren't you like on InfoWars and stuff? I don't know.
Yeah. So let me give you an introduction. So I guess again, like we both had like sort of the same story where we were part of the MAGA world and pundit world, and so did you grow up conservative? Or did you?
I grew up like leaning conservative, yes, but I was a lot more apolitical.
Okay, yeah, because I know for some reason people keep comparing me leaving the MAGA world to you, which I find funny because I didn't necessarily become like you're a Democrat now, left wing.
I'm like
really
social
sure.
democrat, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so like yeah, I'm definitely not a social democrat, and more so, and I guess I'm an anarcho-capitalist. I mean, I wouldn't even call myself an anarcho-capitalist. I'm just an anarchist in general. But yeah. So I grew up in high school. I was an anarchist. I was really involved when it came to Occupy Wall Street. I was really into Alex Jones. I found Alex Jones through a World War of Warcraft forum when I was about 13 years old. And that's like what really got me. And then when I entered college, I like became a libertarian because like I couldn't call myself an anarchist. My parents are very big on like you can't be acting this way anymore when you go into college. So I became a libertarian. My beliefs were pretty much still the same though. And then the MAGA thing happened, and it was like he was going to be the guy to like pardon Julian Assange and pardon Snowden and pardon Ulbricht and stop the wars and put Hillary Clinton in prison. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is our guy, you know. And then over time, I'm like, wait a minute, he's sending more and more missiles into Syria. You know, he's not actually doing anything he promised. He's
for an
actually
ANCAP too, probably.
Yeah,
you know, Trump was he like extended the government massively.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing is that bothered me. And I remember what really got me is that I would bring things up, like, you know, when I was living in DC, and Trump people would just be like, "Oh, you can't criticize him. You can't criticize him." And anytime I would critique him just a little bit, I'd be accused of being a communist or a socialist, which is the exact opposite of what I am. I want little government as possible, if possible, no government. And so it was just really, if anything, by people calling me a communist or a socialist, instead of actually having conversations over the fact that he wasn't doing the things that we voted for him to do, it actually pushed me back into my old high school ways, into being an anarchist. And so when I came out, I burned a Trump hat, basically. And now everyone's calling me Hunter Avalone, the female version. Oh, she's a communist. She's a socialist. It's like, actually, I'm the exact opposite. I want no government. And they still call me a socialist and communist. They don't put two and two together. And then I say MAGA is a cult, but I also say everything is a cult. And
MAGA is definitely a cult.
It's definitely a cult. And I just remember when I was a pundit, there were a lot of things that I wanted to talk about that, like, people would whisper in my ears, "Oh, you can't say that. You can't talk about that." Like, for example, I do have a problem with Israel. It has nothing to do with the Jewish people who live there. It has nothing to do, you know, I believe they have the right to exist. But at the same time, I have a huge issue with the fact that a lot of the war the U.S. gets involved with is tied back to Israel. I have a huge problem with my taxpayer dollars paying for war. And I think it's really annoying that the media is always focused on Israel crying over something. Meanwhile, they ignore all of the bloodshed Israel caused. And, you know, that has nothing to do with people being Jewish. I have many, I'm not going to be like the person's like, I have many Jewish friends, but it really has nothing to do with, you know, for some reason, if I criticize Israel, people want to call me an anti-Semite. And that also really annoys me. But
yeah.
I mean, look, I'll tell you, the IDF, I think, is a terrorist organization, but I also think the U.S. military is a terrorist organization. So
it sounds like you have you took more of like an economic shift, where since I always focused on social politics more than anything, that's kind of where, you know, I took more.
I'm
of my
at the
shift.
point where it's like, if you want to do what you want to do, you do that. Here's the thing: I never understood why conservatives want to point the finger at the social stuff, and I think to a point it is important. But at the moment, for now, I'm focusing on my own life. And I can't wait to get married and pop out some babies and focus on that. But that's my own life. I can't focus on, you know, my own quote unquote trad waifu life if I'm pointing the finger at a bunch of other people. I couldn't give a hoot what you do in your own bedroom. I couldn't give a hoot what you're doing over there. Just don't hurt people. Don't take their stuff. Right. And I'm cool with that. You know, like that's where I'm at the point, you know, and that includes, you know, hurting children. So I guess I do have a problem with like children being quote unquote trans, not so much like, you know, like if like a little boy wants to play with like nail polish, who cares? You know, when I was a little girl, I used to play with Pokemon and trucks, and no one seemed to give a, you know, hoot about that. I'm trying really hard not to cuss because I know you're live right now. Don't get demonetized.
You can curse. It's okay.
Yeah,
over here on this channel, we curse a lot. Don't worry about it.
I'm trying to be polite. And I do have a problem, for example, with kids being put on hormone blockers. I do have an issue with that. You know, and I have a problem with the non-binary thing at a very young age with any of that stuff for children. I think that's sort of something that comes later in life, which I know some people disagree with me on.
I disagree with you on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
the puberty blocker thing.
Wait, you think children should be put on puberty blockers when they're younger?
I mean, it depends. It's highly contextual, but do I think that if a child is confirmed to have gender dysphoria at a young age, then then I think putting them on puberty blockers probably be the smartest move. 100%. Yeah.
Well, what if their mind changes later on in life? Like what if 3 years later they say, "Oh, I don't think this way anymore."
Then they would just go off the puberty blockers, and then they would resume puberty back to normal.
But I mean, that's still a lot of damage, though. You don't think?
What damage?
Because puberty blockers, that can have like severe damage early on.
I mean, think about when. Well, hold on. Wait.
Very traumatic. Just to make it
Yes,
very
but
clear.
also what else is traumatic is having gender dysphoria and then going through the wrong puberty, and that greatly increases your likelihood of committing suicide when you're older. So that contributes to the higher transgender suicide rate, for example. So if there's a child, and keep in mind, we're not talking about like 4-year-olds here. We're talking about like
Well, I'm talking about 4-year-olds, so that's
well,
where we like got. Okay,
well,
so
but
you
no,
continue.
okay,
I'm sorry.
okay. So let me clarify. No 4-year-olds are being put on puberty blockers. The let me try to break this down even more. So there are puberty blockers, and then there's HRT. So these are two different things. So hormone replacement therapy is something that's usually done at an older age. Between, I think the youngest you can do it is like 16 with parental consent, and then of course 18 and onward. Is HRT, which is, like I said, has more adverse side effects. It's a more serious thing that is not as easily reversible. Okay. But when it comes to puberty blockers, yeah, those are very, very safe for the most part. Now, let's obviously not, overreact. Let's not be hyperbolic here. It's a medication, and like any medication, it can have some adverse side effects, sure. But I think that, like any medication, you have to look at it as a pros and a cons thing. So what's the pros are, okay, you can go off it at any time. This is already an FDA approved drug. It's been given to cis kids before. Kids that begin puberty at an age that's too early are put on puberty blockers. And that's like been shown to be safe for the most part. So these are the pros. And then the cons are, well, if you don't, you have a higher likelihood of committing suicide when you get older. Probably seems safer to just do the safe and reversible medication, right?
I just feel like in a lot of cases, a lot of people are coming out saying they wish they had waited. I'm not going to speak for anyone else. I just feel, and also there's a lot of pressure from parents as well. That like,
No, this is really, I heavily
also don't
disagree
think
with you. Like, there's also, because I can just as easily point you to a bunch of stories of people that are really happy they transitioned.
Okay. Again, I don't focus so much on the social stuff because I'm focusing on my own life. And if people want to do what they want to do, then they can do that. But I can't.
Yeah. You could check out my debate with Lauren Southern. I talked to her about this.
I'm more focused on the economic issues and like the anti-war stuff at the moment. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. And I just don't
and
know
the
enough about
anti-mask stuff you said, right?
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the masks. I'm not a fan of the mandates. I'm not a fan of the vaccination mandates. Which I know is like what you sort of my ban water now comment you came at me for. But yeah, I don't think anything should be mandated. I don't think people should be, I don't think people should be coerced into getting a vaccination. I don't think people should be coerced into wearing masks. And I personally have an issue with the masks from the very beginning.
But aren't you coerced? And I mean, if you're going to be that lenient with that definition, aren't you virtually coerced into doing all kinds of things in order to just participate in society? So like you're
I don't like society, so.
But I mean, the way that society functions at the moment, you don't really have a choice in some senses. We're all, quote unquote, coerced to wear clothes outside because we could literally get arrested if we're not. Right?
I mean, you could say that. But also at the same time, I mean, I don't like wearing clothes a lot of the time either, so.
But like outside by like a playground? It's like
no. But I mean, at the same time, that's why we have nudist communities, right? So if someone wants to go to a nudist community, they can do that.
I know, but when you say that like you don't like people being coerced with the vaccines, it seems like people are already quote unquote coerced in all kinds of forms of society, and that's sort of how we function in society. There are societal pressures then.
I think it's a little different because I almost want to say the masks were pushed as a way to sort of get people to just keep buying more stuff, honestly. Because think about it. When this whole virus first hit, yes, I really do. I think the masks were pushed to keep the Walmarts and the Targets open. I really do. The masks don't do anything.
Wait, okay, well that's wrong too. But before, why?
Why wouldn't they want the economy to keep going? Why wouldn't they want Americans to continue consuming and
No.
shopping?
Yeah, so if they did, then why would they shut down all the businesses other than Walmart
The businesses
and
were
Target?
not shut down. The businesses were not shut down.
No, other
Restaurants
than-
are still open.
Remember, but I thought you said it was to help like Walmart and Target and those the big ones.
Yeah, those weren't shut down. So here's the thing: you can't convince people. You can't
No,
convince
but-
people it's a horrible, deadly virus.
But this
and
isn't.
then
This is
keep telling them
contradictory.
to go buy stuff.
This is
No, it's
contradictory.
not.
Yeah,
No,
because
it's not,
hold on,
Spencer.
if their goal was to keep the economy moving, then why would there be statewide shutdowns of these businesses, of local businesses? Isn't that some of the
Well,
problem?
the thing is, there's a statewide shutdown. Actually, there's not even a shutdown of businesses. The businesses are the small businesses, the family-owned businesses are losing money. But
But
the
if their
big
goal- but if
businesses,
the
the
big-
Walmarts, the Targets,
But if the goal was to keep the economy going, why would the government, federal and state, be advocating for like lockdowns and such?
because nothing was actually locked down. That's what I'm saying. Restaurants were still open. The big businesses were still open. Nothing was. I'm from California. I was in California for the majority of COVID. Right. I'm telling you
Mhm.
right now. Like, where are you based out of?
I'm in Maryland.
Okay, nothing here in California. I don't know how it was in Maryland. Actually, no. I was in Maryland fairly recently. Actually, you and I were in the same house at the same time. Funny enough. I never even met you there.
We were.
Calif-
Was this in
Yeah.
Was this at like a MythCon event thing?
No, this was. I'll tell you later in private.
Oh boy. Okay.
California, all the restaurants were open. The small businesses were still open. The small businesses were struggling. Small businesses didn't get locked down by the government. If anything, they were shut down because they were losing money. What I'm saying is, the reason I think masks were pushed so heavily was because it was to convince people to keep going out and shopping and doing things because they wanted the economy to keep going. The only reason
But
things
this
were
doesn't
quote
make
unquote
sense. This is so.
It does make sense.
If
Hunter.
they
What are
want
you
the
talking
economy to
about?
keep going, then why would they be pushing for shutdowns to begin with?
They didn't shut down businesses. They just
Yes,
shut
they did.
down.
There were business shutdowns all over the place, especially with COVID, right? Lockdowns, curfews.
Like, yeah, there wasn't like indoor dining at some places. Yeah, there was a curfew, but there were still
So they
Walmarts
wanted to
and
keep the
Targets
economy.
open.
So they want to keep the economy going, right? So
Yeah.
the goal to keep the economy going was to keep Target and Walmart opened and shut down small businesses. By opening small businesses, wouldn't that too benefit the economy?
I mean, small businesses don't pay off the government the way that large corporations do.
Okay, so the big
So-
corporations have lobbied the government to shut down the small businesses in favor of keeping Walmart and Target opened.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Wait,
if
but
large
is that
corporations-
actually what you're alleging? Because that's like a massive conspiracy. Not only is it not true, but yeah, it's it's just
What I'm saying is the government. Okay, do you agree the government benefits from corporate lobby? I'm not saying the corporations went out of their way to be like, hey, those guys are competitions, make everyone wear masks. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, do you agree that the government does benefit a lot from corporate lobbying, right?
I mean, virtually every business has
So
the
why the hell?
Wait,
why the
hey,
hell
I didn't
would
even
the
get to answer.
government-
Virtually every sorry. Virtually every business has the ability to lobby the government for their interests. Right? So
Yeah,
like
but a
for
small-
example,
a
like
small-
I think it's Chick-fil-A, maybe CVS. I think CVS is one of them where they have like employees that pay into essentially lobby for their behalf. That's what a lot of these like lobbying
That's not
super
the
PACs are.
same. It's still a large corporation at the front of everything. It's
So
not as like a, it's
help
not
me
like a mom
understand.
and pop. It's not the same as a mom and pop owned store. It's not the
Okay,
same
fair.
as like
But I'm
do you
saying
see what I'm saying?
but I'm saying virtually every business, even ones that are like moderately large, right? They don't have to be like the massive corporations. They could just be like moderate in size. I don't think CVS is like a massive corporation. And like they have their employees that are able to like pay into political PACs that are then used to like pay for certain things to try and like
Yeah, but a
benefit
mom
the
and pop shop can't do that the same way corporations do.
But hold on,
Do you see
that
what I'm saying?
well, first, what I'm just trying to explain to you first and foremost is that although, yes, you're right, the mom and pop shops are unable to do that kind of stuff. Generally speaking, moderate-sized businesses can. So first of all, your idea that it's just these big corporations that are lobbying the government, not true. Lobbying exists on virtually all scales of business. Now, when it comes to the mom and pop shops, unfortunately,
it could, but it doesn't. That's the thing, Hunter, is that the only people who benefit from lobbying are the corporations. The mom and pop shops, I mean, they technically could lobby, but they can't. They just don't. They don't have as much power as the corporations
well, the mom
do.
and pop shops, unfortunately, I don't think that is the government or the lobbying or anything. If you look, a lot of these businesses, both small and somewhat large, were suffering just because of COVID. Simply because of the virus, people were staying inside. People didn't want to go out. Businesses were suffering and the economy was dying before these actual lockdowns began. Now, sure, you can argue
I'm aware of that.
So you can.
But what I'm saying is that when you tell the entire population that there's a deadly virus out there, and they're like, well, and the entire population goes, well, then we'll just sit in our houses until the thing goes away. Then the corporations and the businesses get scared. Oh crap, this is not good. So then people keep telling you to wear a mask, and it's fine. It's the same thing. It's the exact same thing.
No, this
as when our
makes no sense.
It is. It does.
What are you saying right now?
It is the exact same thing. It's the exact same thing as when our grandparents were in school during the Cold War, and they told our grandparents to get under their desk if a bomb came down. It's the exact same thing. It's just a fear thing. I swear.
So their goal is to get us all afraid and then wearing masks?
Their goal is to make us think we're safer than they are, so we keep buying stuff.
So, okay. Let me try to understand this. Walmart and Target lobbied the government to shut down small businesses and then say they can wear masks so that they can keep shopping at Walmart?
You're purposely twisting my words. I specifically already said Target and Walmart didn't lobby specifically on that. But when you have large corporations that have already been lobbying the government before, of course the government's not going to care what the mom and pop shops go through.
You realize that like there were like you could even look at the way that like I'm not sure what this
like. Do you?
I guess I don't understand what you're trying to get at here. Yeah.
Do you not find it strange that liquor stores were considered an essential business during a pandemic?
No, not at all. Nope, that actually makes perfect sense to me. 100%. Yep.
That an electronics store was considered an essential business during a pandemic.
Yes, these all make sense. Also, that
clothing stores.
You realize that like
were open.
Liquor stores. Actually, I don't think malls were open, but liquor stores were open.
They were.
Okay, well, in liquor store, you realize that liquor stores stayed open because some people, unfortunately, are alcoholics. And they have like a physical dependency on alcohol. And considering there was a pandemic, they didn't really want people in hospitals with like, dying from a lack of alcohol in their blood because they had become so dependent on it. So yeah, I think that it's completely fair to have considered that an essential business. 100%.
Hey, with that logic, that means every business is an essential business, which actually I do agree with. But the point is, yes.
No, what are you talking about? Alcohol sells an essential product to some people that literally need it to survive. It's unfortunate. I don't like the fact that there are alcoholics, but it's true. That's a reason why it stays open. There's no one that like has like a physical dependency on like the local Chinese restaurant. Like
local Chinese restaurants were still open.
I don't know if you're talking about personal experience or what. I just know from over here in Maryland, like a lot of shit was shut down. Gyms were closed down. People were mad. People were mad that churches
still open in California.
Okay, well, I don't know where you're living then, but over here, like a lot of people are complaining that gyms were shut down or heavily restricted. There were curfews put in place. Now, granted, I guess every state kind of had their own version of doing it. So yeah, maybe California didn't have it in that one area. I don't know. But over here in Maryland, like a good amount of shit was shut down. Indoor dining was completely like not allowed. I don't know.
Hunter.
I don't see how this is.
Do you see do you see how masks could be used to get people to think, with wearing this mask over my face, I'm officially safer now. Let me go to Walmart and Target and the mall and do things again.
I mean,
like if we were actually in a pandemic,
no, considering
that piece of cloth wouldn't mean crap. If we were actually in a pandemic where it's the most
what do you
deadly
mean
virus we've ever
actually
experienced.
in a pandemic, and no one said it was the most deadly virus we've ever experienced.
Hey, if this virus was actually as deadly as it's pushed, do you honestly think a piece of cloth over your face would stop the virus from getting into your body?
No. And thankfully, that's not at all what it was said. So if somebody is actually out there thinking that their mask gives them some like ultimate immunity or something, then I would probably call that person kind of dumb and then consider. Hold on, wait, can I respond? Wait.
Yes.
I need to respond. I would consider these people, that person kind of dumb because they should have read that the point of wearing a mask is actually to protect other people around you. So if you cough, it helps block spit particles that can carry the virus, and that's how it spreads. So the mask is not an end all. The mask doesn't protect you. It doesn't give you total immunity, but it has been studied and proven that the mask does prevent a certain degree of those particles from getting out and spreading. There's a reason why every doctor and nurse wears a fucking mask. There's a reason why it's to protect the patient, not them. So what I would say is, I would say, hey, I get your concern, but maybe that's kind of dumb because it's based on a lack of understanding of the point of masks. So that's what I would tell that person.
Hunter, can I ask you something? If I'm not sick then what's the point of me wearing a mask if I'm not sick?
Because you might not know you're sick. You could be asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic.
Okay.
Right?
The point is, but the thing is, if we're all worried about being asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic, then what's the point in even going out then?
Well,
you see
that's
what I'm
why
saying?
a lot of businesses were shut down, right? Like, what do you mean?
What I'm basically saying is that it goes back to the whole point of the masks, right? If we're all terrified of being asymptomatic and pre-symptomatic, right? Why would they say, well, we can keep businesses open as long as you wear a mask?
I mean, I don't think that they opened all businesses back up. I don't know. I know that over here we had to put on like a mask if you wanted to go into Walmart, and most businesses required it. A lot of it, the businesses that stayed open, that was kind of a private business move. I would have to go back and look and see how exactly it was carried out. I know that a lot of states did have like a mask mandate for businesses where there would be like a group of people or whatever. But yeah.
Okay, all I'm saying is the masks don't make any sense to me. The mask mandates don't make any sense to me. And I'm at the point where...
So if a mask prevents you from spreading a virus, right? And
it doesn't.
Those
things are thin. They don't do anything.
Maybe not a cloth mask, but like the standard mask that you wear, it absolutely does. And
if I were to work with wood, right? Because I worked in carpentry. I do stuff with carpentry. And I were to wear one of those masks, if it's not an N95 mask, if I were to wear one of those like typical like just blue masks that everyone's wearing right now, the wood would go right through the mask. It doesn't do anything. So a virus can easily just go through those masks the same way.
No, that's really not true. I'll try to look it up. Hold on. I
so
have
if
my...
wood particles can go through a mask, the virus can't, is what you're saying.
I mean, it's not like it's an almighty... Hold on. I'm trying to find this stuff for you. Because I actually thought we'd be talking more about the... Okay. Mayo Clinic Health. I'm not sick, so I don't need to wear a mask. Simply put, wearing a cloth mask helps decrease the spread of COVID. Research now has shown that a significant number of people with COVID lack symptoms. All right, hold on. Yeah, a cloth mask is worn to help protect others in case you have the virus. Countries that required face masks, testing, isolation, and social distancing early in the pandemic seem to have some success slowing the disease's spread. Hold on. I'm trying to find it because I had a thing that was like a Harvard thing that basically explained like how the mask works and everything. Is this it right here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stanford Medicine. How do cloth face coverings prevent the spread of COVID-19? Okay, from med.stanford.edu. In order to answer this, it's first important to understand the concept of source control. We've learned that as many as 40% of people infected with the virus that causes COVID-19 may have no symptoms, but when they talk, cough, or sneeze, they can spread the virus to others in the form of respiratory droplets expelled into the air. Those droplets evaporate into fine particles that may linger. The mask traps the mask traps these larger droplets before they can evaporate. So wearing a mask regularly can prevent spreading at the source even when we don't know we are sick. But they also stress that it's also staying 6 feet apart, which was enforced as much as they could, at least in the private businesses that I went into.
It was enforced, but did it actually happen? No.
But
Let's
this
be
doesn't.
honest.
So okay. Now that we understand just from this Stanford medicine article, now that we understand how masks work and why they are effective, it makes complete and perfect sense that you would be asked to wear a mask in a business. Completely. That way, if you're walking next to somebody, if you go up to an employee and you're like, hey, where's the cereal? You're not spreading those larger droplets. Even a cloth mask can help in slowing it, and especially if the other person is also wearing a mask and if you're standing a decent distance apart. Now, granted, this is a little bit of a while ago now because now we've kind of moved on to the vaccine. A lot of places, at least over here, aren't even requiring masks as long as you're vaccinated.
Okay, so does it bother you at all that Dr. Fauci originally said that we didn't have to wear cloth masks or that they didn't stop the spread?
Let's look up what the actual Dr. Fauci quote was.
Yeah, do that for me.
All right, from Reuters. Fact check. Outdated video of Fauci saying there's no reason to be walking around with a mask. A video circulating on social media shows Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the National Institute, saying there's no reason to be walking around with a mask. Fauci's remarks were made on March 8th and do not represent his current stance on face coverings, nor the updated guidance issued by the Centers for Disease Control. Let's see. Actually, it's funny. Might make people feel a little better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask, and they keep touching their face. That's what he said. Fauci made this comment on an interview in 60 Minutes on March 8th. The interview predates the CDC's updated guidance on the use of face coverings. On April 3rd, the CDC updated its previous advice and recommended people wear cloth face coverings in public settings when around people outside their household, especially when social distancing measures are difficult to maintain. Okay, that makes sense. As of this fact checks publication, the CDC recommendation remains almost the same. Okay. He said masks were not recommended for the general public as authorities were trying to prevent a mask shortage for health workers, and the extent of asymptomatic spread was unknown. Okay. So yeah, this is a very simple issue here of science changes and develops, right? So it sounds like they weren't quite as aware of the asymptomatic spread or the risk of asymptomatic spread, right? So at the time when he said that, he said, yeah, it didn't really seem like there was much of a reason to be walking around wearing a mask. Later, hey, asymptomatic spread's actually a pretty big deal. The CDC updates its guidelines, and then Fauci goes along with that. That's honestly kind of more or less the system working as it should. The reason we listen to the CDC is because they are the first, or at least we hope so, the first to be delivering us the best information, right? So with science, it's always changing. It's always developing. And especially when it comes to a developing virus such as this, the information is going to change. And with that comes changing guidelines. So first he said, yeah, it didn't really seem like there's much of a reason to be wearing a mask. Then he said, yeah, there was a concern of a shortage of masks, and we weren't quite as aware of the asymptomatic spread. Now we kind of have a little more information. Now we start wearing masks. This just sounds like a very normal thing to me.
I mean, do you think that should be enforced, like across the board? Like everyone should have to wear. I mean, here's the thing: if a business says, "Hey, we want you to wear a mask when you're walking in," that's like the business's right. I'm all for free markets. If the business says you have to wear a mask, then yeah, sure. Like the business could be neon green with like strippers on top of the roof and chicken suits, and that's what the business wants to do. But I don't think the government should come down and say these businesses have to have vaccine mandates. These businesses have to have mask mandates. I think the businesses should make their own choice for what they want to do. Like, do you think that should be enforced on a government level or a business level?
I mean,
don't you think people should have the right to make their own decision to what they do?
well, they do though. I mean, if you're just talking about a mask, like we're gonna
Well,
kind
not
of go.
just the mask, but that we're going into the vaccine mandates as well. So that's included in my question.
So with
Like,
the
do you think
state
people-
mandating with the state mandating vaccines, there is court precedent to do so. So yeah, I'm fine with that.
You're fine with the state basically telling people what to do with their body.
In this case, sure, the state kind of already does that in multiple other ways.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of going back to the coercion talk. The state mandates what you do with your body in the sense that you're not allowed to put alcohol in your body before you drive.
Okay.
Right? Am I wrong?
Right. But here's the thing when it comes to the vaccination. Since we're going to the vaccinations, let's start talking about vaccinations. So I think people should have the choice to do their own research and to make their own decisions when it comes to the vaccination. The vaccine I have an even bigger problem with than the masks. Because the problem is that every body reacts differently to different medicines, medications, and vaccines.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the thing is, because this vaccine is still very new, it scares a lot of people. And here's the thing, this isn't an anti-vax thing. This isn't like an anti-vaccination.
It doesn't have to be an anti-vax thing. It's just a lot of the times that people are scared is just because of blatant misinformation. They just don't really know what they're talking about, or they've been completely brainwashed and disillusioned by like right-wing media and talking points thus far, right? Like a lot of the do your own research crowd, like do you ever ask them what their own research is? It's probably like a tweet and a YouTube video, like a Tim Pool video, right? Like a lot of the times the people that say do your own research are like the people that lack the most research, if you think about it.
When I say do your own research, what I'm talking about is some people's bodies do not react well to new medications and new medicines and new vaccinations.
So my approach on this, honestly, is if you have a explicit medical condition that puts you in like some unique position where you are unable to take the vaccine, okay? And if that's kind of like
religious purposes.
And well, hold on. Let's.
What if someone's religious?
Wait. We're kind of pivoting here because we're gonna move on from this in a second. But if they're other than that, right? Or I guess that would kind of go along with your doctor giving you some kind of a reason why maybe it's not good for you specifically to take that vaccine, right? Other than this, I find there to be no good reason at all not to get the vaccine. Zero. And I've even gone as far as to say that, like, I think every reason not to is brain dead. But we don't need to get that inflammatory here. I'm just saying that's usually my approach there.
What if it's religious exemption? I mean, there's a lot of factors that could go into it. Why someone's like,
I
hey,
say,
you know what?
honestly, if you're religious, what kind of religious exemption
Someone can
you're
be
looking
Muslim.
for?
Some Muslims don't agree with vaccines.
I don't care. Usually, honestly, to be truthful, if your religion calls you to put your own health at risk, I kind of think that should just be kind of like take it up with God type thing, because that sounds like some bullshit to me.
You just said put your health at own risk, right? So like if that's someone's choice, you don't think people should have the right to be like, you know what? I trust my own immune system. I don't want to get the vaccine.
It's not about trusting their own immune system. That would be a really poor argument considering that COVID is a new vaccine.
The vaccination only helps those, and doctors will blatantly tell you this. The vaccine doesn't stop you from getting it or spreading it.
Actually, that's not true at all. It does stop you from getting it. It prevents you from getting it for sure.
No, it doesn't, because I've got 2 people in my household who are vaccinated, and they still got it.
I don't care. I have 3 people in my household who.
There's several people.
Well, I have 3 people in my house who got the vaccine and then went around someone with COVID and didn't get it.
Well, that's their bodies. Bodies are different. I just said bodies are different, Hunter. What I'm saying is,
all I'm pointing out is that the anecdotes are irrelevant. Okay, this vaccine
Right,
has been given out in record speed to millions upon millions of people all around the world. There is an international consensus on the fact that this vaccine is overwhelmingly safe, and
Well,
even in a more local sense, there is perfect evidence when you look at these statistics and you see that the people who are dying in the hospital from COVID are the people that are not vaccinated, whereas the people who are vaccinated are avoiding dying in the hospital. It reduces your risk of getting COVID, and in doing so, reduces your risk of spreading it. And also, even if you do get it, if you have a breakthrough infection, it reduces your risk greatly of dying from it in the hospital, or even needing to go to the hospital in the first place.
So if the vaccine only helps those who get it, and I make my own choice, hey, you know what? I don't want to get it. That's my choice to die. That's my choice to get sick, Hunter. Why the hell do you care what I do?
Well, let's be realistic here. The state isn't actually enforcing any kind of vaccines here.
Right, but they're making it harder for businesses and other places to work. Like they're enforcing, like OSHA is enforcing
Yes,
stuff.
that's good.
No, it's not. I just told that's mandating. That's mandating.
Good. There are other mandates. There are other mandates too. You have to mandate people.
Hey,
you could.
You just
you know
told
what?
Me
I
there
could.
Was no,
you could reduce it to say,
me,
you know.
No. You just told me that, oh, no one's forcing people to get vaccines. But at the same time, when the government comes down on businesses and places of work and says, these people have to get vaccinated, these people have to do this, because it's no longer about private businesses saying we want our employees to do it. It's about Joe Biden and the federal government saying every business has to require a vaccination. I'm not okay with that. If it was just private businesses, it's fine, get a new job.
So would you be okay with the state requiring all businesses do it if it wasn't from the federal government? If the state did it?
No. I don't think the government should have any say over someone. No.
So even in the places where it would be acceptable with court precedent, like a state mandating it, you wouldn't be okay with that?
No.
Okay.
No.
So you're kind of just against mandates in general then?
If a private business says, hey, like for example, Disney was like, we want all of our employees, it's like, fine, get a new job if you're against it. But when the government tells businesses that they have to require their employees to do it, I have a problem with that.
So, do you know what OSHA does? Like,
tell me what OSHA does, Hunter. I'm sure you know more than I do.
Well, no, I didn't mean for that to sound like condescending. I'm actually just asking. Like, OSHA regulates workplace safety, right? And there is already, you could argue, precedent even there. OSHA's already stepped in back in June and put guidance in when it comes to the COVID virus. So there's already precedent there, and there are legal experts that argue that it is very possible that OSHA is within their right to argue that, hey, mandating vaccines, making sure that the employees at this business are not spreading a virus or raising the risk of a variant or raising the risk of, breakthrough viruses for those who...
You just said that people can't get it. People can't die from it if they're vaccinated. Only the people who get vaccinated are affected by it, essentially.
So can I explain that when people aren't vaccinated, they raise the risk themselves of developing a variant of the virus because the virus is able to spread and develop through them, right? They're literally like biohazards. So people like that, I think that you have a right to be if you're an employee at a business. What about the people on the other, think about it on the other way around. Maybe there's a guy who got his vaccine and he doesn't want to risk losing his job or not being able to go into work because his coworker is brain dead and doesn't want to get the vaccine because they got scared by a Facebook meme. Like, what about him? Like maybe he has family members who are sick or immune compromised and he really wants to be careful. But
you just told me that people who are vaccinated aren't affected by those who are not vaccinated.
That's okay. Can I explain?
You just told me that, Hunter.
Okay.
You just told me that.
All right. Maybe that might be fair. Let me back up a little bit. Okay. You got me here. It's true that they can sometimes still be infected. So a vaccine, you probably know this, is not 100%, right? the efficacy rate. So just if you get a vaccine, it's not a 100% chance that you will not get infected. And it's also the effectiveness does wane against new variants such as the Delta variant. So if you have someone who's not vaccinated, one, since they're not vaccinated, they have a higher likelihood of actually carrying the virus, which then raises the likelihood of you getting a breakthrough infection, which, although it's rarer, it can still happen. Second of all, since the Delta variant can kind of develop and come from them, as they're not vaccinated in the first place, that's even easier to have a breakthrough infection because the original vaccine was developed for COVID and the Delta variant is a new variant. So there are ways that people who are vaccinated can still be affected. It's true that it greatly lowers your risk of being infected, though. The point of this is, like, nothing is 100%. Never. No medicine you take is 100%.
Hunter, you just proved my point.
How?
You proved my point. You just said, well, nothing's 100%. Exactly. So
Yeah.
what's the point?
Well,
You just
so
told
what's
me,
the point?
first
Okay,
of all,
let me ask you something. Wait. No.
wait,
I want to ask you something.
Hunter, you went from saying that the vaccine works and prevents people from getting sick and spreading it to, well, actually. Do you see what I'm saying? And also, again, the vaccine.
So do you understand, like, how, can I explain, like, how the averages and statistics work here? So, like, on average, if you are vaccinated, it's less likely that you will get infected, okay? It lowers your likelihood of getting infected. It's like wearing a seatbelt. You can still die in a car accident while wearing a seatbelt, but the seatbelt can still lower your likelihood of dying in the car accident. Does that make sense?
Right, so reduced risk, right?
So it's a reduced risk one, but the risk is raised by people who refuse to get the vaccine because of the reasons I already explained, because it raises the risk of a breakthrough infection, which can also happen. And with the Delta variant, that the vaccine does lose, is not quite as effective against the Delta variant. That's also true. It still is great. It's still like anywhere between like 60 to 90% effective against the Delta variant. But
well,
still,
Hunter, I guess if everyone got vaccinated then, right, and we all went to work, and the Delta variant decided to take over, I mean, I guess we're all gonna die from the Delta variant.
No,
right,
actually,
Hunter?
honestly, if we could, because this is the last thing I wanted to add in too. Is
oh no, it's the Delta. Oh no, it's the Lambda. We're all gonna die now. Seriously, I'm just at the point where
you sound delusional right now.
How do I sound delusional?
You're like you're demeaning the fact that
opinion.
there's a Delta variant. I am not slinging an opinion. I'm trying to explain to you the intricacies of this vaccine, and you're taking such a brain dead approach. This is like if I'm like, hold on, this would literally be like if I was like, hey, you should really wear a seatbelt, man, when you drive. It could be dangerous. Well, I knew a friend who they hit the curb and the seatbelt actually strangled them. So I think seatbelts are dangerous. Wait, I thought you said seatbelts work, Hunter, in protecting people. Well, hold on. On average,
have you been to New Hampshire? New Hampshire doesn't require seatbelts being worn, and they actually have like some of the least deaths caused by car accidents there with seatbelts.
Okay.
Not being worn.
I got
So
you. But either way,
so, New Hampshire
that doesn't prove anything. This would be like, again, arguing that if you look at it over average, on average, when people take the vaccine, it greatly protects them, right? And lowers their risk of having severe adverse side effects if they are to get the virus. So we can also try to work to achieve herd immunity. Right now, unfortunately, we're only at like 54% of the country vaccinated. We need anywhere between 70 to 90% to be vaccinated, right? And once that happens, then that will greatly help everyone around us, because even if we do have a Delta variant, even if we do have breakthrough infections, then we're going to see less deaths, because then we've seen this happen actually, where they still had some like a quote unquote outbreak of like the Delta variant, but then there were significantly less hospitalizations and death. This is just common sense.
Okay, but do you think everyone in America should be vaccinated right now, even if they don't want to be? Do you think that the government should show up at their doorstep and be like, you gotta get the vaccine right now, or you can't go to work, you can't go to Walmart, you can't
That's
get groceries,
such a
you can't do anything?
hypothetical. I'm a little bit more interested in like I would be more interested in understanding like what is their reason to not be vaccinated? What is their reason for
just told you,
compromising the rest of society?
Some people want to wait it out. Some people are like, you know what? I'm not ready to get it.
Why?
I want to wait it out a little bit.
Why? Why wait it out? For what?
New. It's still fairly new.
How is it new?
It's fairly new. The fact that this was done within the fact that this vaccine was produced in less than like 6 months is kind of it's
so
weird.
Do you know
for some
how?
people.
Do you know why? Okay, so a lot of the times the reason vaccines take a really long time to be developed is because it takes a long time to find out where the initial virus comes from and how to build a vaccine against that, right? In this case, we have already, we're already familiar with SARS-CoV, right? But COVID-19 was different. So we'd already had research for, I think it was the last 50 years on a vaccine for SARS-CoV. But then it came along that COVID-19, it kind of worked together all at the same time with the mRNA vaccine and then the SARS-CoV vaccine, which they already had. It was pretty easy to build from there and then complete it with complete it against COVID-19. Does that make sense?
Okay. But again, I'm not speaking for other people. I'm just saying what other people might think.
Yeah, but don't you see that reason for thinking that's really, really stupid and doesn't make sense to compromise the rest of society for?
You know what, Hunter? If someone came up to me and straight up told me that they don't want the vaccine just because, I'd be like, that's a good enough reason.
Oh, I would break TOS on that person.
That's their business. That's their life.
It's really not though, because it's really, this is something that risks all of society, and this is something that we're working hard to try and achieve herd immunity, which would greatly help everything go back to normal. Oh my God, would that fucking be nice? And also, it's just such a privileged standpoint when you think about the fact that there are people in other countries who are dying from COVID, dying to get the vaccine, and then we have Karens over here who are terrified as fuck that, oh no, I read a meme and it said that yikes, like, I have yet to hear a single good reason not to get the vaccine.
I love when people say those who are anti-vaccine or something are Karens, when you can easily just say Karens are also the people who want to enforce the vaccines.
Sure.
Karens are.
Well, then I'm a proud Karen in this sense. Bring it on. Hell yeah.
Thank you for letting me know that Hunter. I'll be sure. Thank you for calling yourself a Karen. I'm sure the internet would love that.
I know they will.
That's pretty funny.
How's it going, everybody? But yeah, can you give me like a single good reason why not to get vaccinated? It kind of always comes back to this, really.
Why I personally wouldn't?
Or just anybody. What's wrong? Like, why won't they get? It's free. It's easy. You don't need insurance. Come on.
Well, I think people are also sketched up by the fact that there's vaccine passports along with it. The fact it's being pushed so heavily, that scares some people. The fact that it is, for example, like the fact that this is probably a common argument I'm sure you've heard, and it probably annoys the absolute crap out of you, but I can understand why people say it. It's a little strange that we talk about how we have to save lives, and yet cancer treatment's not free. Diabetes medicine isn't free, and that can bother some people.
Okay, so that I actually agree with you broadly speaking that those treatments should be free. We would probably find common ground. Well, I don't know, you're an anarchist, but I'm a social democrat, so I don't know. But I, for one, am in favor of a public option of healthcare. I think that people who have cancer absolutely should get those treatments for free. But what I would tell that person in this case of the vaccine, I would say that's just blatant whataboutism. It means nothing. You're just saying, what about this? Okay, yeah, hopefully they can fix that. What does that have to do with the vaccine? Irrelevant. Right? It means nothing. So and also, again, by the way, if you want to bring up the cancer patients, people who have cancer are at a higher risk of getting COVID and dying from it. They have more of a reason to get the vaccine.
But that's their choice. What I'm saying is it should be someone's choice whether or not to.
It still is ultimately. They might lose their job though at the cost of that choice. at the end of the day, though, it just kind of comes down to, why will they not get vaccinated? There's a process to pursue exemptions. I'm sure if they have like a legitimate like doctor's note that says like, this person suffers from blood clots and is at an especially high risk because of this medication they're taking, blah, 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 I'm sure that they would be able to get an exemption in that case. But when it comes to these quote unquote religious, moral, philosophical, whatever, they're all just bullshit.
So you don't believe in religious freedom?
I do believe it. I believe in religious freedom, but I don't think that you can just say...
As long as
no,
we
I
can
don't,
force the Muslims to get vaccines, right?
Well, this is like if me saying my religious freedom means I get to drive drunk everywhere I go. It's like you can claim anything's a religion, but it doesn't really hold up at the end of the day. Like, what would be a religious reason not to get the vaccine?
What would be a religion? I just told you. In many Muslim cultures, they don't believe in vaccinations.
Why?
Because that's their belief, man. I'm not Muslim. I can't tell you that.
You mean over in the Middle East where it's like a third world country? Where there's like the like radical aspect
of America. There are Western Muslims who don't want to get vaccinated because it's against their religion.
Okay, well then I would probably just say, you know what? No hard feelings, man, but your religion is really fucking dumb. And then I would tell them to go get vaccinated and give them a ride there if they needed.
Hunter Avalon hates Muslims. You heard here, folks. I was kidding. I'm kidding. He doesn't hate Muslims.
I know. It's okay. I'm not too offended. Yeah, like, it's still, there's just no,
I stand
no
by the
reason.
fact that if someone came up to me and said, hey, I'm never getting vaccinated, I'm like, that's your business. That is your business. Okay. I don't need a reason from someone. I don't. I think people should have the right.
You're right that it is their business ultimately. And if they so wish to not get the vaccine, then they don't need to get the vaccine. They just might have to, they might either A, get fired, or have to just do weekly tests, which at the end of the day, that isn't even that bad. Once a week, you got to take a quick test, make sure you're clean. Okay.
I honestly agree with Sarah Silverman's solution on this. I think there needs to be a national divorce. I think we should split the country up by 4 different countries, honestly. I really do.
I wonder how fast the Republican one would shut down as soon as they realize how important immigrants are for their functioning economy.
I'm not Republican, so you can't ask me.
Oh, I'm just saying broadly it would be funny.
Well, here's the thing. Republicans actually love immigrants and migration. They just don't want to admit it. That's the funny thing, is because any Republican philosophy relies on migrant workers. It relies on under-the-table workers. You can't have a
this is the sort of like capitalism needs an underclass to function type thing.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not really too interested in getting off to that
what the
aspect
Republicans
of it.
I'm not Republican, so you know.
The Republicans are crazy for their own reasons, but yeah,
we both went through it, so.
True. It just seems that you might still have some of these crazy inclinations, perhaps, when it comes to the vaccine stuff.
I don't think wanting people to make their own decisions is a Republican thing.
I don't know. No, they can, though. They are allowed to make their own decision, right?
Okay, right. I agree with that.
So they're allowed to choose. If they say, you know what? I'm going to lose my job if I don't get vaccinated, and I'm too scared to get the shot. And
if that's the private business, it's different. But if the government is hammering down on a business saying, hey, every single one of your employees needs to be vaccinated or we're going to shut your business down, I have a problem with that.
It's not even shutting the business down. It's just that if they don't do it, they're going to be fined really heavily.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I mean, these are for businesses for 100+ employees. So there's not really going to hurt the like mom and pop shops, as you put it earlier.
There are some mom and pop local chains that have more than 100 employees, and they're still struggling as it is because of COVID, because of taxes, on top of everything
thankfully,
else.
I'm so thankful that right now the vaccine is free. So if those people are struggling and then all of a sudden it's required that they get the vaccine, which, like I said, OSHA has the right to do it, so it would seem. I will admit that it's a legal gray area. It's already being challenged, but based on what I've read, based on what some legal experts have been saying, it does seem to be seem like the precedent is there. Yeah, I think that, thankfully it's free. They can go ahead and do it. Go ahead and get vaccinated, like what's the problem? it's been made so easy. It's kind of hard to like make any kind of argument that they shouldn't get it.
Oh, sorry. I just think that honestly, it should be someone's choice. It should be someone's choice. I don't think the government should have any dictation over what someone should do with their body. I don't think the government should have any dictation over a business, who they should hire, what they should require.
So are you glad that, so are you okay that so you're mad about the Biden administration forcing the private businesses to make sure people are vaccinated? Is that the thing you're upset about specifically here?
I'm specifically mad about the government telling anyone what they can do, honestly.
So are you upset because the government is technically here telling private businesses what to do? The people themselves, again, they can choose not to, I guess, to lose their job. But again, like, what would be, why would they lose their job over this? This is something that, based on the precedent available, it seems that OSHA's within their rights to enact this.
The problem is, you keep saying OSHA is within their rights. OSHA, what rights does OSHA have? They're not civilians. They're not people.
I know that you kind of have this, like, anarchy thing going on, and that's fine, but we kind of have to operate within the current system. And, yeah, that's why, like, I mean,
but if the current system
OSHA regulates workplace.
Cannot do your own civil rights. If
OSHA regulates workplace safety, and with that comes making sure that in the workplace, you're safe from a preventable disease. With that comes, hey, make sure you're vaccinating your employees if you have more than 100 employees, and B, the vaccine is free and you don't even need insurance to do it. Like, how it's, and also, yeah, and C, you can just, file an exemption if you need to. There's a process for that. Or if you really don't want to get vaccinated, then you can just do a test once a week. I just don't see what the big deal is with this, I guess. Like, again, I know that you're like, well, people shouldn't have the... This sort of sounds like the, like, freedom. I understand the importance of freedom, but we have to acknowledge that there's a bit of a line between positive and negative freedoms, right? So we also have the right to not get sick. We also have the right to not infect our coworkers with a preventable disease. Like, there are some freedoms that we have, some negative and positive freedoms. Do you understand? Am I making sense there?
Negative and positive freedoms. The fact that you just said negative freedoms is like just the wildest thing to me.
You have a freedom, for example, like if you want to have a functioning society where you are living freely, well, you're not going to be able to live freely if you're murdered. So you have a right to not get murdered. That's why the state
not get murdered. I have the right to protect myself with a gun, and it's great. I have a right to protect myself with a crossbow and a tank and
huge
grenades.
Pivot,
and
but okay, that means nothing.
I think it's so funny you said that. I'm sorry. Oh my god, I just think it's hella funny.
Is it because you've never heard the term, or like?
Just the way you said it, negative freedoms is so funny to me.
Do you want me to read you? Like, I can go Google the definition exactly and read it to you. If you
No.
want.
It's just the term negative freedom. It's just, oh man, what a contradiction. Negative freedom.
That's not a.
Hunter, you should make merch that just says negative freedom on it.
Negative freedom is liberty from inference by other people. Negative liberty is primarily concerned with freedom from external restraint in contrasts with positive liberty. The distinction was introduced by Isaiah Berlin in his 1958 lecture.
Hunter,
positive liberty is the possession of the capacity to act upon one's free will.
Buy it.
As opposed to negative liberty. Just Google negative freedom. This isn't like some, maybe it's, you know what, maybe this is esoteric. I apologize. Maybe it went over your head. Either way, this means nothing. What does this mean? Who cares? Go get the vaccine. There's no reason not to.
Hunter, make a t-shirt that says negative freedoms on it and I will buy it.
Have you just given up on the debate, or are you done?
No, I have not given up on the debate. I guess as soon as you said that, it really just Oh, that's the funniest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
Okay, you realize you've been advocating for negative freedoms this entire debate. Like, what you're saying is, like, we have the freedom to not be vaccinated. You're arguing for a negative freedom here, in a sense.
I think that's just freedom.
Okay, well, I'm not trying to be mean, but, like, if you want to have, like, a kindergarten definition, then okay, but that's not, like, a very nuanced approach to what freedom actually looks like. For example, if you're locked in a cage and then put out in the desert, you have freedom completely, but you're in a cage, so you can't really do much with that freedom you have.
It's not freedom. You're locked in a cage.
You have freedom to do whatever you want in the cage. Put them in the desert.
No, because
You know what? You're right. You're right. The cage isn't even the greatest example. Put them out in the middle of the desert. Take somebody, put them out in the middle of the desert with no resources. All right, you're free.
Well, no, it's not freedom because somebody basically kidnapped me and put me in a desert.
Okay, I was trying to make a hypothetical thing, but I honestly, I don't know if I should be. Okay.
Hunter, why would you kidnap me and put me in the desert? I don't understand.
I don't know if you're just trolling or if this is actually just going
Hunter,
completely over
Hunter.
your head. I don't know.
When you said negative freedoms, I couldn't just help think. It's just a crazy term. I know it's an actual term. Like I'm not stupid. Okay, I mean I'm sure you think I'm stupid, but it's
Well,
like
no, because I know you didn't.
communism.
No, because
It's
I
like
know
saying-
I know that you didn't know what that is, and now you're only saying that now because I read you the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're definitely post hoc justifying this, but we've kind of gone off the tracks here. Yeah. Do you want to talk a little bit more about the mandate thing? It's just so far I've heard no good argument. I guess I have yet
My
to.
main argument is not telling people what to do with their body. It's like whatever.
Okay.
I'm not gonna question someone being
Yeah,
like,
you know what?
want them
I don't
vaccinated.
think the government should have a right to tell people what to do with their body either. So it's really bad that the government says that you're not allowed to drink and drive.
Is that like your main argument for this?
I'm asking you if you think it's analogous.
Well, when it comes to drinking and driving, I believe in community standards. So I think everything should be blocked off.
Wait,
based
you
on
believe in community standards, but you don't think people should get vaccinated? Doesn't that make more sense? Herd immunity? We can
Well,
make it
it's why
rhyme. We can
I
make it
heard-
rhyme if you want. Herd
Wait.
immunity community, maybe?
So it's
Something
what
like
I said
that?
earlier. I agree with Sarah Silverman. We should have a national divorce. Those
Okay.
who do not believe in the vaccine mandates can
Okay.
go here.
I'm
And
gonna
those who
just
do
I'm
can go
gonna be
over
a little
there.
bit mean. No offense here. Okay. No, I
Mhm.
don't just you're living in like a fantasy world right now. This is a delusion that you're telling me right now. You don't have any solutions in the real world. You have like this hypothetical utopia that you're fantasizing about where we all magically live happily ever after in some divorced split up of the United States. That's great. I think maybe it would make like for a good novel or something, but when we're actually dealing with reality, the system works the way that it works right now.
The
When we kind of
system, you're-
we
Well,
hold
the
on.
system
We
sucks. The
we-
system sucks. That's why
I'm
that's
sorry
why we
that you
have a-
feel that way, but there's two. So you can advocate for a better system if
Oh
you
my
want,
gosh.
but you should also be able to operate within reality. There's a such thing as
Hunter, when
long-term
you
goals and
say
short-term
we have
goals.
to work with the system, that's basically saying, well, we're being told what to do. There's an authoritative government over us, so we'll just go along with the system. Can you imagine if people like in like North Korea were just like, oh, we gotta go along
You
with
can
the system?
challenge certain
Horrible.
aspects of the system. Absolutely. Well, we're not in North Korea,
So
okay?
let's challenge
You
it.
can
I'm gonna
challenge
challenge
aspects
not
of
being
the.
vaccinated. I'm gonna challenge it. I'm gonna
All
challenge
right,
it.
well,
And
don't
other
then
people are
lose your
gonna
job, I
challenge them.
guess. For what? Why? So you're not going to get vaccinated. How about instead of making arguments that other people make, tell me why you're not going to get vaccinated?
Why I'm not?
Yeah.
Honestly, because I'm that person who says just because. I don't
So
like being
you're
told-
that person. You're the brain
Yes.
dead person. I
Well,
was
actually, I
right
have
when I
several
said you're
reasons.
such a big brain as being sarcastic on Twitter. This is
Well, actually, I have
unbelievable.
several
Ashton, tell me
reasons.
you're being.
Wait,
Are you
Hunter,
memeing right
Hunter.
now? Are you Pepe clowning on me right now?
I'm a little bit memeing. Yes, I actually do have several reasons. Of one of them actually being a medical reason.
Other than
but-
the medical reason, which I'm sure is very severe and legit, can you give me some other ones? Because there's no way I can argue against your medical condition.
Yeah, well, I am sensitive to blood clots. So the problem is, overall, the reason I say just because isn't because I think like, oh, I think people actually can just say just because. I say just because I don't think it's anyone's business about my medical condition. I don't think it's anyone's business about, me saying I don't like the idea of putting something new in my body.
It's not really new. Do you take other vaccines?
I haven't had a flu shot in about 10 years. I mean, I've had the vaccination for smallpox.
Were you vaccinated as a kid?
Yes.
Oh, shit. I think that explains it.
I actually am autistic, so you making that joke is pretty freaking funny.
I didn't know that. Oh, fuck. And we just got rated, too. Oh, shit. Right. You know what? Oh, damn. What's up, Loner Box people? Hit that follow button.
That's so funny.
All memes aside, though, I'm a little concerned because, obviously, no hard feelings or anything, but like these reasons are really, really dumb. Like you could always ask maybe your doctor if it's okay to get the vaccine, considering the fact that maybe you're susceptible.
I have talked to my doctor about this. In fact, he talked to me through it, and he says, "Yeah, I agree. I don't think it'd be good for your situation." My doctor.
Okay, cool.
Here's the thing.
So for you, that's fine. Then I would go ahead and say, if you're telling me the truth honestly, then fine. You're cool. That's fine with me. All right, cool. But like I said, that's the only reason why that's actually justified.
I'm not anti-vax. But if someone comes up to me and says, "I'm not comfortable with this. I don't want to put this in my body just because,"
what about someone that doesn't want to vaccinate their child? What about someone who's like a kid who's like 13 and they're able to get the COVID vaccine, but their parents have authority over them and they don't let their kid get vaccinated?
Does the kid want to get vaccinated?
Yeah, the kid wants to get vaccinated and the parents won't.
That's the kid's choice. That's the kid's choice.
Even if the kid's only 13?
Oh, we're going back into our transgender stuff now, aren't we?
Do you think that if they're trans, they could? If they're trans, do you think if they're 13, they could? Do you think if they're 13, giving them a vaccine, if they want the vaccine and the parents won't let them, do you think that that's okay?
I think the child should make that decision for themselves. If they're 13, it's different. If they were like 4 or 5 years old, maybe not.
Oh yeah. So for example, if it's a vaccine that's like safe for kids, I think not vaccinating your kids absolutely would suffice for child abuse.
Again, it's their choice.
So, but it's not. Hold on. This is actually a really good thing we should focus on, because it's not their choice at this point, because now their dipshittery is affecting their children in this scenario. So the fact that they're being stupid and being brain dead and being selfish and refusing to get vaccinated, or because they're against vaccines because they have some like belief in Sky Daddy that told them not to or whatever, if that's really their reason, and then they don't get their child vaccinated, that's not their choice. Now they're hurting their kid.
I believe in personal choice. As I said before, I believe in personal choice. If that person wants to do it, they can do what they want with their body. Like, again,
what if they're a child and they can't consent because they're a little baby, but all of the science indicates, hey, they should take this child.
A 13-year-old isn't a little baby, because if you're 13 years old, you can go into a doctor's office by yourself.
Okay, yes, you're right. What if it is a baby? What if the parent, the mom, doesn't trust them? No, not COVID vaccines haven't been approved yet for kids, but hypothetically, just a vaccine that is approved for kids, like all the regular ones that kids usually get. What if the parent says, "No, I don't want that for my kid"?
I'm not a parent, so I actually haven't thought about this myself.
Do you think the government should mandate that children get vaccinated in that sense?
I don't think the government should mandate anything. I know you disagree with that. I don't think the government should mandate anything.
Yeah, and because well, of course I disagree with that, because your worldview would lead to chaos.
So what I'm saying is that we also live in a world where parents already do that, where they already refuse to get their children vaxxed.
I know, and it's disgusting. It's child abuse, and it puts their child at risk.
And there are many children who grow up unvaxxed ever, and they do great, and they're fine. And there are some who don't.
I know.
That's not
but
my
either
place
way,
to tell the parent what to do.
Oh, I think that in some places it is. Yeah. Like we keep going back to this. Like the government already tells people what to do. The government doesn't let you beat the fuck out of your kid. The government could also say, "Yeah, you have to vaccinate your kid." And you know what? In fact, you do. If your kid goes to public school, it's required that they're vaccinated.
since I'm outed as an autist, I will tell you right now, like it is kind of annoying when people ask me if like when the first thing like MAGA types would ask me, and this was happening like when I was living in DC a lot, when I was talking about being on the spectrum, and people would automatically ask me, "Were you vaccinated as a kid?" And it's like, yes, but that has nothing to do with me being on the spectrum. I wasn't diagnosed until later in life, because as a females tend to have different traits than boys on the spectrum when they're younger, and so sometimes you can watch videos on it. I'll send you research papers if you're interested. But people often, the first thing people want to ask me is, "Were you vaccinated?" It's always really annoyed me because yes, I was vaccinated against polio because thank God I don't have polio now. But that didn't cause me to be on the spectrum. I was born that way. My mother had me at a later age, and
No, of course, vaccines don't cause autism. That's
so yeah.
That's
I'm
bullshit
again.
too.
I'm not anti-vax. I'm not anti. I'm
But
not the person who,
okay, so it's not anti-vax. You just all the reasons to not get vaccinated are pathetically stupid. That's basically what
I'm not
we're walking away.
anti-vax. I like to wait out. Again, I have a medical reason on top of that, but I can understand why someone wants to wait out the vaccine. I can understand why someone's like, you know what? I'm not ready for it. Let me wait it out. I can understand why someone wants to do that. Or I can also understand why someone doesn't want to get it at all. That's their personal choice. I'm not anti-vax, but I can respect other people's decisions for their own body.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of feel like this is we're kind of starting to loop, so I think we're going to wrap this up. But
okay, man, I'm sorry I didn't give you the answers you wanted.
It's not that you didn't give me the answers I wanted. It's just that you're like kind of all over the place, and you don't really seem to have any like strong grounding on anything. And like,
what do you mean I don't have strong grounding on it? I don't think the government should mandate.
You're like
anything.
the government shouldn't mandate anything, but like, what would be the consequences of that? Like, do you think of like if the government just stopped mandating shit? The government would stop mandating that stuff goes through the FDA. We would have all kinds of crazy drugs on the market everywhere. Like, what do you mean the government should just not mandate things? Like, do you know how dumb that sounds?
I mean, we're in a position where I can understand why people are scared because they feel like they're being coerced. They're telling small businesses you have to make all
It's
your
not
employees.
small businesses. It's 100 employees plus. That is not a small business. And if you have over 100 employees, I think it's completely fair to regulate that business in the sense that you say people can't be spreading a preventable disease. This is
Do you think everyone should get a flu vaccine? Do you think everyone should get vaccinated across the board for everything?
Yes.
So I haven't had a flu vaccine in 10 years.
I don't care.
Does that bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. I just don't know. In fact, it bothers me so little that I don't care. And I think this is when we're going to wrap up the combo.
Okay.
I hate to say it, kind of proved my tweet. Like big brain, very smart, super, all that sarcasm. But
thank you for the original insult there, Hunter.
You're welcome. Maybe we can talk at a later time. And bye.
Okay, bye, Hunter.
Oh God. All right. Oh. Also, it sounded like you won from what I hear. Yeah, that was much more of a conversation. I was more just kind of, I don't know. I wasn't really interested in like, yelling or anything. All right. We are going to be wrapping up stream somewhat soon, but don't go anywhere, okay? Because we're going to do a little bit more. We're going to talk about what's in the title, okay? We're going to talk about Michael Knowles, our boy. Hunter, you did not win. Yes, I'm sure the gibberish username has a deep analysis of how debates go down. Thank you for that. So Michael Knowles.
You know what's off limits in China?
Finding common... Oh, wait, you know what? I better record this one. Oh, wait, no, I can't record it right now because my computer... You know what? Yeah. All right. Michael Knowles coming up with... Can I restart? Because I... Okay. Michael Knowles finding common ground with tankies? Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. I mean, this is insane. Let's take a look here. Now, as most of you know, Michael Knowles is a super not smart person. And now he's over here straight simping for the fact that China banned girly men on TV. Liberals lose their minds.
You know what's off limits in China right now? Girly men in the movies. September 3rd, Amazon released its remake of Cinderella. This is news to me. I haven't caught the movie yet. This is featuring Billy Porter, whom I've never heard of, in the role of a genderless fairy godmother. So he's a guy, but he's like from what I take it from the costume, he's like a flamboyant, gender-bending fairy godfather mother. Okay. Officials in China
I heard, by the way, that this movie was absolutely abhorrent. It has super bad reviews. And I don't think it's anything to do with the fact that it had gender positive whatever. I think it was just because it was actually just a really bad movie.
Called for, quote, resolutely putting an end to sissy men and other abnormal aesthetics on television. The party also instructed entertainment producers not to cast actors with, quote, lapsed morals and incorrect political positions. And they're banning reality shows that feature the children of stars, arguing that these promote a, quote, unhealthy preoccupation with vulgar internet celebrities, as well as an admiration of wealth and celebrity.
An admiration of wealth. Oh my God. Liberals lose their minds. Lol. Liberals being against China, putting more restrictions on media, state restrictions. Liberals, man, they're always triggered by something, aren't they? Let's sip my leftist tears.
They're also banning excessive video game use by kids, to which I would say, it doesn't sound so bad, does it? You know,
you knew it was coming, right? Literally coming. Like this. Can you get China's dick out of your mouth, Michael? Michael Knucklehead? Michael Knowles? Michael Know Nothing? I don't. Something.
And celebrity.
All right, hold on. Let's read.
They're also banning excessive video game use by banning reality shows that feature the children of stars, arguing that these promote a, quote, unhealthy preoccupation with vulgar internet celebrities, as well as an admiration of wealth and celebrity. They're also banning excessive video game use by morals and incorrect political positions, not to cast actors with, quote, lapsed morals and incorrect political positions.
So let's listen to that very first part, because Michael Knowles, every time we go over him, he is literally fucking mask off every time. Like, I don't think this guy is even really hiding it much. Like, isn't this guy a fascist? Pretty much. Yeah, it seems like it. I mean, this was... Let's just try to imagine this was reversed, okay? Try to imagine this was anything to do with, like, liberals saying this. Suddenly you're not going to be hired for incorrect political positions. What does that mean? Does that mean you don't like capitalism? What if, I mean, Michael Knowles, think of this if this was reversed, right? He would be like, what does that mean? Could that mean if you are a conservative? Perhaps if you just questioned the transgender narrative? That's what he would be doing, right? But now he brings this up and then finishes up with, doesn't actually sound that bad. Brr. What a fucking idiot.
Instructed entertainment producers not to cast actors with, quote, lapsed morals and incorrect political positions.
Lapsed morals. What does that even mean?
And they're banning reality shows that feature the children of stars, arguing that these promote a, quote, unhealthy preoccupation with vulgar internet celebrities, as well as an admiration of wealth and celebrity. They're also banning excessive video game use by kids, to which I would say, it doesn't sound so bad, does it? I don't. You never want to be on the side of the Communist Party in China, and I'm not, but on the broader point, I suppose I am.
Why? Just say it, you spineless fucking cretin. Is this like some red fash all of a sudden coming from the Daily Wire? Damn. Michael, are those your own leftist tears in that mug? What the fuck, dude? I'm not saying I agree with communist China here, but I guess on the broader point, I agree with communist China here. Just say you don't, just say you agree with them.
I am. Because what is really clear in China is something that exists in America, but people are just not clear about it. Namely, there actually are standards and limits that are in place. The standards and limits are just different. In America, the blob, the liberal establishment that runs Hollywood, that the studios system, the not the old studio system, but the new way that it works, is such that you really can't produce movies that are patriotic, that take a positive view of American history, that include strong masculine men who are good, who are not toxic. And
is he kidding right now? Over here in America, you're not allowed to make patriotic movies. Didn't Daily Wire just make a movie that was all patriotic? Run, Hide, Fight. Actually, pretty decent reviews. Huh. And her compassion to fight for her life. I don't know if this was like super patriotic, but like, it's just when you say like the liberal conglomerate doesn't want you to make movies like this, it kind of comes off like really fucking bizarre when various reasons. One, you are profiting and are part of a conservative conglomerate that makes movies partially. And two, there's a ton of movies that are patriotic. People are pointing them out in my chat. Independence Day, some of the most famous movies are like World War II movies, movies fighting in favor of America, camaraderie. Oh, I guess he would say those are old movies, and now the liberal establishment says no more masculine men. I guess when you just make something up, it's easy to construct an argument against it.
And women who are womanly, that's not really permitted. It's always the woman can't be saved by the man anymore. The damsel in distress, the woman has to save herself, or she has to come in and save the man even, or the man has to be sort of effeminate or very toxic, or it's always got to be ideological with very few exceptions.
He is the woke scold here. You realize I say this every time, and I'm going to keep saying it because I want people to remember this, okay? He's the SJW. Remember in 2016, we would all clown on the feminists, the feminazis, or whatever the fuck they were called, for looking for everything that was problematic. This is what this guy's doing right here. Very few exceptions where something is not ideologically driven. Dude, what are you talking about? This is the type of guy to watch fucking Despicable Me and be like, oh, I sensed a satanic agenda. These people are fucking delusional.
Especially these days. So what China is regressing toward, I guess you would say, is Maoism. That Mao did this stuff too. He said, now there's going to be really rigid rules in place about our art. We don't want just pure agitprop, but we also don't want girly men and unpatriotic themes, and we don't want all this craziness in the movies. We recognize that the culture is going to craft the citizenry, and we want to make sure that the culture is doing a good job. The left imported, I mean, they imported this directly from Mao, actually, in the 1960s, from China, and it has shaped the way that leftism in America has progressed in the ensuing decades. I write about this a lot in my book, Speechless. So,
it's actually true that there might be some parts of leftism that are, I mean, we talk about tankies on this channel, so that might be partially true. But what are you saying? You're like, China did that. Haha, I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying I, agree with that. And then you're like, we need to control the culture over here, too. Okay. Are you saying that you should do that yourself?
They're right. I think we need to acknowledge that they're right. And I think we need to, once again, move beyond this really shallow language of, you do whatever you want. The government can never do anything. And we should never tell Hollywood that they shouldn't make a movie, that is
He's literally
unpatriotic
saying
or anti-American.
Wait, Michael Knowles was up here. He's part of Daily Wire. Daily Wire was shitting all over the vaccine mandates, saying it couldn't be done, complaining about the federal involvement. Michael Knowles is up here literally saying that the government shouldn't be afraid to fucking tell Hollywood what to make movies about in order to control the culture. But not a fascist, guys.
American or inverting of standards. We can't do that because everyone should be able to do whatever they want at any given time. Politics is downstream of culture. The politics never affects the culture, as we're often told. No. To use a line from George Will, actually, back when he was conservative, statecraft is soulcraft. Yes, the prevailing culture in a society will shape the kind of government that society has, but the government will also shape the kind of people that are there. We know this. Conservatives admit this all the time. Whenever we complain about the Great Society and the governmental upheavals of the 1960s, how it destroyed the black family, what we are acknowledging is the government can shape the citizenry. The politics can shape the culture as well. And what China is saying is,
some of that might be true, but again, the implication of all of that is that, what? The government should fucking not be afraid, as you put it, to call out these movies and say they're not allowed to make movies about certain topics?
Yeah, we don't want all of our men to stop being men. Yeah, we don't want all of our kids to waste all their time on video games. Yeah, we don't want all of our citizens to hate their country. So we're going to suppress those kinds of themes. In the late 19th...
Okay. Oh my God. The hypocrisy levels. The levels of it. I'm going to spurg out here, okay? This... Jeez. Okay. Whew. Daily Wire.
To hate their country. So we're
constantly, Daily Wire, you constantly cry about big tech censorship. And Michael Knowles is up here literally saying that there should be state censorship of certain themes in movies. Holy fuck. Dude, this is straight up like authoritarianism. This is actually a tenet of fascism when the government takes over the private businesses and forces those private businesses to create something in favor ultimately of the government. So in this sense, this would be saying to Hollywood, you're not allowed to make movies or we're going to suppress films that don't have patriotic themes. What does that mean? Movies that don't glorify America aren't going to be allowed in main theaters? What are you talking about?
We're going to suppress those kinds of themes. In the late 1930s, you had some of the greatest films that were ever made were all made during this period. And, part of this is because of the Hays Code. This was an industry
Let's look this up
self-regulating system to avoid government censorship. And so they created their own self-censorship. And you had all of these really, really great movies. But movies weren't always wholesome in the past. Actually, before the Hays Code went into effect, you had a bunch of filthy, degenerate movies. I'm thinking you may have seen a clip of one of them going around the internet. It kind of became a meme of like all sorts of people who look all sort of, they have all sorts of crazy.
It's hysterical that he actually brings this up. The reason this was even created in the first place, which first of all was written by like religious groups, was designed as a code regulating the moral content of feature films designed so that Hollywood could police itself and thus avoid or minimize outside censorship. The point of this to begin with was to avoid people like you, Michael. The code prohibited profanity, suggestive nudity, graphic or realistic violence, sexual persuasions, and rape. Well, now we have a different system. We have a different way of rating things with the rating system. We have PG, we have PG-13, we have TV, we have TVY, you have TVY7, you have TV-14. There are shows that are rated so that you know what you're getting into before watching it. So this was so funny of you to bring up, but
problem. And it was called Freaks, right? And it's like one of us, Google gobble, and it's
and
just
when this
the
code
whole
was in time,
point of it is this. It's supposed to be a freak show, and very perverse and weird and creepy. And a lot of movies were like that back then. And then there was some self-regulation, and you had really high works of art, and frankly, a culture that I think was healthier. And now we're regressing toward that. So,
yes, back in the 30s when culture was so healthy, when there were record rates of, not record rates, I don't want to say that, but when there were higher rates of marital rape, spousal abuse, segregation. But yes, I didn't have to worry about turning on the TV and seeing a boob. How our society has digressed. Hi. Is Rose awake? She's still asleep? Come here, buddy boy. Hey, dude. Hey, buddy. Want to look up here? That concludes our feature film. Well, you know what? No, we can finish it with this, buddy.
I'm not saying we gotta, copy China exactly. The problem with China is and they're using this kind of language. They want to be revolutionary. They want to be socialist. They want to use the government to impose that Maoist cultural revolution once again. We don't want to do that. But we need to recognize that the government and the culture and the institutions are going to shape people. So we should use that for good, traditional American ends. I'm so glad you like that clip. That makes me...
So there you go. Why does he do this cowardly thing where he's like, I'm not saying we should do it exactly like this, and we shouldn't really do it because this is bad, but we should really do it, and we should do that to further America values. The end. All right. Oh my gosh. Horrible video. Terrible in every sense of the word. Michael Knowles, Michael Numbskull. That is your new name, and it will be on your tombstone, okay? Goodbye. Ah! Don't end the stream, buddy. Not yet. You're the star of the show. Hi. Hi. Do you see yourself there? Can you stick your tongue out? You want to?
Okay.
Do you see all the chat over there? He's using his baby for public opinion. Yep. I'll debate your baby. If you're an anti-vaxxer, you'd still lose. Finally, some good content. Hey, you know what? Don't talk about this little guy. Don't talk about the rest of my content. What's wrong? Don't get grumpy. We're live, buddy. This is when you have to be on your best behavior. You're in front of 200 people right now and you don't even know it. Okay? Everybody's looking at how cute you are. Hunter lost Avalon. Yeah, I saw 2 different people saying I would never be able to win a debate against you. But I would be more than happy to try. Hey, dude. He is not a ginger, guys. I don't know if maybe the light looks like... Yeah, it does look like that over here. Button Mash, thanks for the $5. Do you think the political party should be abolished? Maybe, or maybe just greatly expanded. Blue 99, thanks for the $5. Standing a socialist country's censorship to own the libs. Yup. Why are you getting so mad at me? Don't yell at me, man. You know what? I'll just sit with him while I... No, you can hold this. Here, bye. There was someone that wanted to debate me. All right, well, I'll give you the last few seconds here, guys. Got 10 minutes till I'm wrapping up the stream, because we're going for 3 hours. So, yeah. Ow. Debate William. This is why you should go to bed early tonight, William. So there's a couple reasons why. First of all, your overall health will be benefited by that. Okay? Second of all, Daddy would be happy if you slept through the whole night. Don't get up at... It's a full-grown man playing a baby. Don't ruin the skit, dude. Come on. It's my new CGI effects. Don't be mad. You're the star of the show, man. I guess we are losing a lot of viewers. William. What? Ah! What's this? Is this a microphone? Can you check it out? ASMR with William. And do Twinkle Twinkle. Hunter, I look forward to debating you. Get in my Discord, please. And if your username in the Discord is different, then let me know. I do not like that sound. Not a fan. Twinkle, twinkle, little. Twinkle. Wow. Yeah, where is this guy? Hi! Yeah, William wants you to show up too. Come on, man. Time's ticking. Alright, I only have like 10 minutes. Till I gotta wrap up stream. Because this little munchkin... Okay? Someone just joined the waiting room. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if that was them. Ow. We're back. We're back. He tried to send a Discord message, but failed. Sorry, Will. He wanted to tell the waiting room. Can you just grab the keyboard right here? Uh-oh, William. Someone disagrees with your views on economics. It's right there behind the couch. You have to look after your baby. Oh, come on, dude. Get back. Get over here. Don't you try. Oh, no. He needs to take care of his kid. Sounds like you're cowarding out. And I'm with my kid, so I can't curse. So I'll even have to be nicer to you. Are you gonna type? What are you doing? You typing? Yeah. How old is your baby? Almost a year and a half. I don't think he's gonna show. This guy's been talking crap the whole time. I know. Hi.
Hey.
Oh, okay.
Hey.
We're calling this guy out. Be nice, please. Be nice. We don't need that. Alright, he's saying he's here and wants to debate, but he's not answering yet, so. I'm calling, bud. I'm calling you, man. Button mash gave $2. Your baby's trying to censor you. William's such a Sigma. He is. You're a Sigma male, Willie. All right, bud. Come on, man. Dude, you're killing all the time. Hey, I'm trying to call you. You've been talking crap to me this entire time. I don't have much time, but I'm happy to chat with you for a little bit. He just likes to open and close it. It's okay. I'm not going to be able to make we're not going to be going over Project Veritas today. We ended up having a lot of debates instead. Come on, man. Is he going to answer? Bruh. Oh, wait, hold on. It says you joined, but it says you're muted. You have to unmute your mic. You might need to go into your settings and turn on voice activity and turn off push to talk. Hi. You can go up if you need to. He can hang out in here. No, it's fine. I'm going to be wrapping this up soon anyway. No, I don't use my microphone. What? Oh my gosh. All right. Yeah, now he's saying he's not going to talk. I'll debate you over text chat. No. Ban him. Ban him from chat. All right. So corny. Debate over text. No. Why do you think this? Guys, we didn't cover as many topics as I thought we would, but you know what? That's okay because today isn't the only day I have to stream. I also have to stream tomorrow. So we'll go over some topics then. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I love you all. Oh wait, let me make sure I didn't miss any PayPal donations just to be safe. Buddy. Oh, good thing I checked. Gail Harrell, thank you so much. Willie, thank you so much for the $15 PayPal donation. Really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. That means a lot.